He helped the club win the FA Cup in 1955. He is third on the list of all-time top scorers behind Alan Shearer and Jackie Milburn. War Flags produced a flag. His widow Joyce, his daughters and his grandson Adam have all been invited to St James's Park today. So wherever you looked, you were seeing flags, and there were a lot of other black and white flags that were flying in the atmospheric St James's Park as we're underway, and it should be a good game, Pat Nevin.
It should be. It doesn't take a lot to get the Newcastle fans re-excited, does it? But certainly that win during the week there against Aston Villa has got the fans believing that they can go back up the league again. They've had the little rest, but they have to make sure they can take account of what they've gone through and get back on the road to winning again.
So Newcastle United in their black and white striped shirts and black shorts in this first half are playing from right to left as we look. As stepping out of defence is Cher. He's got Murphy going through the middle. He's got Gordon streaking away on the right, and Gordon's kept the ball in play. And Gordon now to the edge of the area just bypasses Sean Longstaff. Only partially cleared, and then Gordon goes down under a challenge, but it was just a collision. It'll be a free kick to Luton. Half-time in Rome, it's the Six Nations. Maz Faruqi.
Italy 17, England 14. 2 Italy tries from Alessandro Garbissi and Tommaso Alan Sandwich. A daily try in the first half at the Stadio Olimpico, but 9 points from Ford's boot have kept England in touch. 17-14.
Commentary of that is on Sports Extra, as will Wales against Scotland, that gets underway a little later on. That's also live on BBC One, that game in Cardiff. So we've been playing for 90 seconds as Luton Town almost had the ball. It'll go back with Osho on the edge of their area. He's the central figure of the three, back towards Kaminski. Of course, they had that rapid-fire start against Brighton on Tuesday night. They netted twice in the opening 137 seconds, which was the earliest that any side has actually gone 2-0 up in the Premier League since Leicester against Derby back in 1998. And I spoke to Matt Upson on my way to the game today, and he just said that Luton were incredible. They absolutely blew Brighton away.
Yeah, and I mean, if you close down as high as you can, as quick as you can. So I'm not sure, I'm very sure Eddie Howe's looked at that and thought, you're not doing that against us. So they've been in the faces of the Luton players as much as the Luton players have been in the face of the Newcastle players, which has made it lively at the start. Both teams have actually got into half-decent areas already.
0-0 though in the early stages. That's Pat Nevin, who's with us here at St James's Park. Talking of Brighton, there's been a goal. John Akers.
And it's come for Brighton, their first league goal of the year, and it's the big fella, the captain, Lewis Dunk, straight forward, corner, header on the edge of the 6-yard box, into the corner, goal. 1-0 Brighton against Palace.
Well, Benny was in the penalty area there. He looked for the cutback. That was a really, really attacking bit of play from Luton Town.
That's a really interesting thing there, because you very rarely see Dan Burn getting done for pure pace and then not getting back. Usually those long telescopic legs get in the way. Couldn't this time. Done for pace early on. The last thing a full-back wants to happen to him, but the first thing that Benny wants to do.
Well, he's got plenty of pace, the Irish international. Then certainly they're going to be a threat on the break. Rob Edwards out in the technical area. As we sit low down here at St James's Park. It's a fresh afternoon. I think that's a good way of describing it. Dry, but a little fresh as Cher passes the ball out to Trippier on the far side. Ball then goes long. Murphy then was just tripped. Just a little coming together. And it was Amari Bell running back. I don't think there was any intent there from Bell, but it will nevertheless be a free kick to Newcastle.
There are some referees that would have reached for the yellow card there. But you're spot on, no intent at all. He's running in a straight line. The Newcastle player runs straight across him. There's nothing he can do about it. Yes, there is contact. Yes, it's a free kick, but not a yellow card. Wait for it. Well done, referee. Spot on. Got it right. By the way, just a word on Dan Burn. They had to change the system during the week there, because when Leon Bailey came on, he gave Dan Burn such a torrid time. Well, they're obviously targeting Big Dan again, which surprising, because he's very rarely done.
Yes, that was Pat, who was part of the commentary team at Villa Park, as Newcastle United halted a run of 4 successive Premier League defeats with that impressive win at Villa Park. Here is Murphy, diagonal ball looking towards Gordon. Osho couldn't cut it out. Gordon, cross comes in from Guimaraes on the run on that right-hand side, and Newcastle United have got a throw just up from the corner flag. Been a good start, lively start from both teams.
Don't you just love this already? It's both sides. Neither side wants to sit and defend. Every time they get a chance to go forward, they go forward in big numbers. I really just hope this keeps on going at this level and at this rate.
Trippier plays it back from the throw on the right, and then Cher will roll it back to Botman. Adebayo is putting him under pressure. Forward ball towards Miley, being tracked in the midfield by Mengi, who's come out of defence. Almiron. This is what I'm told that Luton did very, very well against Brighton. They pressed with a real intensity, and Brighton were suffocated at Kenilworth Road, where of course they play with a real spirit anyway. But almost Byrne was caught out there by Jordan Clark, who tracked him and followed him back. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service, wherever you are in the world. Always a pleasure to have your company. Here we are in the northeast of England, St James's Park. Good noise, 0-0, early stages, as the ball is given away and Barkley slides into it. Can't pass it back though to O'Benny. Almiron now towards Miley, short and square. Guimaraes inside the centre circle, looks for the run of Trippier, onto the chest of Trippier. Doughty's gone back with him, and then he waits, does Trippier, rolls it down the line right hand side. That is for Gordon. Back with Trippier once again. Into the Championship we go. A goal at Rotherham. Chris Coles.
No surprises here. Rotherham 0, Southampton 1. The team unbeaten in 22 in front. Jan Bednarek heading in from a corner. Rotherham 0, Southampton 1.
Good ball out towards Trippier. Keeps it in play on the right hand side. Delivers a low ball in. And Newcastle United take the lead. And arriving with Sean Longstaff inside 7 minutes. A right-footed finish into the bottom left-hand corner. Newcastle 1, Luton Town 0.
That is a piece of pure class there, all the way from the start of the move. Yeah, you look at the brilliant cross by Trippier, playing obviously almost as a right winger when he gets the ball, but the ball fed out from midfield by Miley is absolutely stunning. And eventually, obviously, Longstaff, another youngish player, coming in there. He loves to arrive in that inside right position. Does it time and again there. And he comes in with real power. 1-0. I'll tell you what, this game will not finish 1-0, will it? If it keeps on going like this. What a great goal.
He arrived in between two Luton players and finished it to give Kaminski no chance whatsoever. Newcastle United lead by a goal to 0. One of our featured games elsewhere is in League One, and there's been a goal at Bolton. Charlie Slater.
After just 5 minutes, Bolton 0, Barnsley 1. A long throw in from the left, flicked on, and Devante Cole's only a couple of yards out. Couldn't miss. His 17th of the season. 1-0 Barnsley.
So Barnsley are leading at second against fifth. Earlier in League One it finished Oxford United 1, Reading 1. Newport County 2, Swindon 1 was the result in League 2. In the Scottish Premiership, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1 was the result in that 12:30 game at Pittodrie, and Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Salford lead Wrexham by a goal to 0 in League 2. Wrexham, who've lost their last 2 away from home in League 2. Back to the Premier League, update from Turf Moor, Lee Blakeman.
Burnley 0, Fulham 0. Burnley with the best chance of the game so far. Vitinho, left side of the area, tried the shot, deflected wide of the far post, 0-0.
Sean Longstaff's 5th goal of the season separates the two, as Miley, tall and slender young player, loses out in the midfield. It won't necessarily go with Lokonga, but they get it out towards Morris, left corner of the area. Morris, the Luton Town captain, back with Lokonga once again. Barkley coming onto this ball, 30 yards out, thought about the shot, blocked, and then with that rebound, Gordon will play it back towards Murphy, inside towards Guimaraes. Barkley snapped into the challenge, won the ball and loses it, as that was stepping out of defence was Mengi, and he caught Guimaraes there. Ferocious pace at times. 9 minutes played, 1-0 Newcastle.
Yeah, you're not surprised, Joe, because you know Luton will want to do that. They want to upset teams, don't give them time to settle. However, there are few players in that Newcastle side. Miley, honestly, sometimes the joy of watching a young player grow game by game by game. He's been superb so far.
Latest scores elsewhere: Portsmouth 1, Northampton 0, Fleetwood 1, Port Vale 0. We know that Southampton have responded. How can Ipswich? Oh, hold on, here is O'Benny. We'll be going to Deepdale in a moment, but O'Benny's into the penalty area, plays it in low, and then cleared inside the 6-yard area by Botman at the far post. So, goal at Preston, Ellen Ellard.
Yeah, Preston North End 1, Ipswich Town 0. Who other than Will Keane against his former club from the edge of the area. Didn't look like it had enough on it to make its way into goal, but took a mean deflection, and Preston lead by a goal to 0.
Southampton and Ipswich looking to respond to Leeds United after their victory last night. Very, very tight behind the leaders. Leicester there at Stoke City today. We'll keep you up to date with any developments involving the leaders who've only lost one of their last 13 in the Championship. This is the Premier League. Newcastle United lead by 1-0. Mansfield are 1-0 up at home to Notts County in League Two. As the ball is played back by Guimaraes and then swept forward by Cher. And a good ball too. Almiron keeps it in play on this near side, the left. Rolls it forward. Miley striding into that attacking final third from midfield. Guimaraes look then for Almiron, cut out by Mengi, forced to retreat by the presence of Sean Longstaff, back towards Kaminski, and then he clears high downfield. 1-0 to Newcastle. Pat Nevin.
Do you know, when you look at some teams and their tactics, and watching Villa the other night playing a very high line against Newcastle with the pace, particularly of Gordon, that they've got, you're thinking, will Luton do the same? Luton are so high up the pitch when they've got the ball. They are 10, 15, 20 yards inside the opposition's half, their back line. You almost never see a defence doing that. It's incredible, and you just worry in case Gordon's going to get too much space here.
Hull City lead Millwall by 1-0, and at Easter Road Hibs have fallen behind. Hibs 0, St Mirren 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. 11 minutes played, slight pause. Guimaraes is down on his haunches at the moment.
Do you know, I was going to say to you just a few moments ago there, we're not 10 minutes into the game and there's a number of players breathing really, really heavily, which is an unusual thing to see, but I think he must have got a knock.
Colchester 0, Forest Green 1. Forest Green, bottom of the table in League Two, without a win in 13, but they are ahead. And he's okay to continue, is Bruno Guimaraes. Incidentally, a yellow card today would result in a 2-game ban. He's on 9 yellows. He's one of the most booked players in the Premier League. Paulinho is the other. That might not necessarily be a surprise to some. As Gordon brings the ball away over the halfway line. Adebayo tracking back, still runs through with Gordon on this near side, the left, back with Miley. Now with Guimaraes left of the centre circle. Newcastle have the lead. 12 minutes played here at St James's Park, and another goal at Deepdale. Ellen Ellard.
Preston North End 2, Ipswich down 0. Things go from bad to worse for Ipswich, and Neil Rees, set free towards goal all by himself, sends the ball across the face of goal and into the bottom left-hand corner. Preston 2, Ipswich 0.
They have dropped points in recent weeks. They've drawn 5 of their last 7 in the Championship, and 2-0 down at Deepdale. O'Benny forward now for Luton Town. And then he waits, retreats. They're doubled up on him, passes the ball back. Mengi joins the attack. Now this is Osho just outside the centre circle of the Newcastle half. Newcastle United lead by 1-0. Morris dropping deep. He's got Doughty to his left. They're attacking the Gallagate end, for those of you who know St James's Park. This is Ross Barkley. Barkley, the Conga, eventually out towards Doughty on that left-hand side. Newcastle United, everybody back behind the ball. 13 minutes played. 1-0. But more than a watchable game so far here, as Mengi is going to go further back to Osho.
Very noticeable, Ian, that when Bartley gets the ball, they just drop off and say, yeah, have it. But there are so many players, as you explained there, behind the ball. They're thinking, it's got to be some ball to get through us. So really good organisation and hard work from the Newcastle defence.
Shrewsbury lead Cambridge by 1-0. That's in League One. You know, normally when I'd go in the first half, I'd go, where should we go next? And it's generally because I've forgotten. It's nothing to do with my hearing. Stoke City, Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 here, just as Dewsbury Hall gets a header palmed over the bar. That's the first direct chance, and that Ipswich scoreline will have gone down very well with the Leicester supporters behind their goalkeeper at the moment. It's Stoke 0, Leicester 0.
Southampton lead Rotherham. Ipswich Town, though, 2-0 down at Preston. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds 14 minutes play.
Well, just a moment ago, right in front of us there, Danburn came in for the most obvious scything tackle. Now Clark basically hurdled him and got completely clear of him. Now no touch at all, but the referee rightly gave a free kick there. Had he taken the hit, that was an absolute definite 100% yellow card, and under no danger. It's a wee bit rattled down at the moment. He needs to calm down.
Tom Bramall is the referee in his ultra blue referee's jersey and black shorts, as Adebayo makes good progress on that far side, the left. Luton Town have got a corner. They've responded well since going down.
Do you know what? I'm not surprised. That's just the way they play. they give goals away, but they'll score them, they'll keep on creating. They do not seem affected by it at all, and I think it goes back to the manager, the positive mental attitude that he's shown, not only himself but in his team, and his belief in them. You can actually feel it going through to his team. So no, they've not been affected.
Luton Town have a corner kick in front of the Gallowgate end, far side the left. They're playing from left to right. Shrewsbury 1, Cambridge 1 is the latest score in League One. In comes the corner. It's an outswinger from the left. Morris is up. Looping header. Caught by Dubravka. Races to the edge of his area, but he was prevented from an early release from a jumping Morris in front of him. Now out towards Byrne. Let's get an update from Brighton. John Akers.
Brighton 1, Palace 0. We've had 15 minutes here, and De Zerbi's just been booked for arguing with the referee, the Brighton manager, and Schlupp has just had an effort saved from 25 yards. Brighton 1, Palace 0.
Exeter 0, Bristol Rovers 1, and at Fir Park it's Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 1. Is that the Pat Nevin derby?
It could be, yes, one of them. A couple.
One of a few. Yes. Back it goes to Dubravka. Osho gets in front of Gordon with the header. Challenge from Miley, doing well in the midfield once again. Clips the ball over the top. Flag stays down. Rob Edwards is appealing. Still he's got his left arm aloft as Gordon, left hand side of the area, to Almiron. Folds it back. Longstaff again arriving. The flag never materialised, incidentally. Trippier into the sliding challenges. Newcastle win the ball back through Murphy. Murphy, edge of the area, enters the box, shoots, blocks, comes back and strikes Murphy off the chest and behind for a goal kick. Newcastle lead 1-0.
I don't think it was offside him. I think it was well onside. I think the timing was wrong, was perfect. We're getting another little view of it here. He was so far. He was 2-3 yards onside there. No idea what Luton are complaining about, but it's that point I was making it a few moments ago. They play so high that there's sometimes in the opposition half. That is so dangerous against Anthony Gordon.
And you're right about Lewis Miley. You know, you look at him and sometimes you think, for this teenager who's just adapted to the rigours of the Premier League so well, a Newcastle boyhood fan, hails from Stanley in County Durham, and he gets better and better every time you see him.
Every time he does something, there's a murmur around the ground, and it's not just because he's a local, it's because he's a player.
Adebayo wriggles away from Byrne, who then holds him up and dispossesses him. A goal at Burnley now, Lee Blakeman.
It's gone to Fulham. Burnley 0, Fulham 1. Pereira with the corner, and with a flicked header at the near post with João Palhinha. In it goes over Trafford to make it Burnley 0, Fulham 1.
And Salford have doubled their lead at home to Wrexham. Salford 2, Wrexham 0. Wrexham, who started the day second behind leader Stockport County. Here is Miley. Left hand side, infield, Guimarães, the little flick back to Miley, and it runs out for a goal kick.
You just wonder about Miley. You watch him play and you think to yourself, what can you become? You can become absolutely anything. I mean, he bestrides the game just now. I mean, he's tall, he's got phenomenal pace, he has got a vision that's kind of above and beyond a lot of the other players on this pitch, and he's only a kid. He can do just about anything in this game.
He doesn't turn 18 until May. Here is Barkley. Portsmouth 2, Northampton 0. Crawley 1, Morecambe 0. Latest scores elsewhere in League 1 and League 2 respectively. You're listening to 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and we're also live on the World Service. Here at St James's Park, where Newcastle United lead by a goal to 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Crystal Palace 0. Burnley 0, Fulham 1. Everton 2, Tottenham 2 was the result in the early kick-off. Obeni, Lokonga, loses out in the midfield, a combination of Longstaff and Miley. Mengi has to roll the ball back to Kaminski. Only 2 of his clean sheets this season were one against Newcastle and the other one against Brighton. Unable to keep one today, but he catches that one with ease as the cross-come shot comes in from Almiron. Spilled initially. Almiron, who was one of several Newcastle players who had been linked with moves away in the January transfer window, but that deal to Al-Shabaab reportedly falling through. As there, it was Clark trying to thread a ball through. Adebayo challenged from behind. Free kick to Luton, who trail.
He's very good at that, Adebayo. He just puts his body in front of the ball and waits for the contact and goes down. For those of a certain age, there's a player I used to play with called Gordon Jury, who was a genius at that. He's got a good free kick in a good area.
He has. It's a shade over 30 yards out from goal. It's fractionally right of centre. 20 minutes played. Barkley stands over it. He's netted more goals in his Premier League career against Newcastle than any other, but they were all with Everton. But Doughty now comes over to provide a different angle. So Barkley with the right foot, or Doughty with an in-swinger off his left. Newcastle United have a line of black and white striped shirts just on the outskirts of their own penalty area. Doughty now moves away. Carlton Morris is one who's going to make a late arrival, and it goes in towards Morris. He gets his head onto it, and then Osho enough in and in the crossbar. Perfectly worked set piece from Luton Town, and they are level. The run from Morris, the important header on, and then Osho to bring Luton Town level at 1-1.
I always tell you at free kicks, it's the second ball. Corner kicks and free kicks, make sure you're ready to attack the second ball. Lovely ball in there, obviously by former Evertonian. Really, if you're Barkley, you want to put it in an area that is not pleasurable to defend. He does that, but put it across and make sure you get plenty of players attacking it. They do that, and Osho, he makes it look very, very easy off the underside of the crossbar. Told you this wouldn't finish 1-0.
And you were right. Nobody tracked the run of Morris. 1-1. Swansea 0, Plymouth 1. Stockport 0, Harrogate 1. So the leaders of League 2 are behind, and another goal in the Premier League. It's at Turf Moor. Lee Blakeman.
2-0 to Fulham. Ball over the top. Found Rodrigo Muniz inside the penalty area, and he lifted it over Trafford, who was about 6 yards off his line. And it's Burnley 0, Fulham 2.
The away form for Luton Town, they've won 2, they've drawn 2, they've lost 6. They've only scored 11 goals in those 10 games. But hold on, they're coming forward again now with Obeni. But plays the ball back to Mengi. So a rare goal on their travels for Luton Town. Let's get news of that Harrogate goal at Edgeley Park. Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah, it was the Scotsman Dean Cornelius with the goal. He was unmarked in the 6-yard box after some great link-up play between Thompson and Muldoon, and the side who are excellent away from home are ahead away from home.
Cheltenham 0, Wycombe 1. You're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. Gordon leaves Osho with his pace, burning away to the edge of the area. Osho, though, now recovers, back goal side. Gordon comes inside, beaten away, comes out towards Longstaff! Newcastle United back in front. Longstaff on the double. But it was Gordon who was the creator. And Longstaff, after his initial effort, beaten now by Kaminski on the follow-up. 2-1, Newcastle United.
Do you know that mad high line I was mentioning before? Inside your own half, allowing Anthony Gordon to run in behind. Well, he did it once before, and he's done it again. There is half a field to run into with nobody there. It almost looks a suicidal defending, but they've done it, and they've paid the price again. It's strange to be able to sit here and see what the problem is. But well done, Newcastle. They know what the problem is. Gordon knows what the problem is, and everyone else needs to know that he can make good of that. And of course, Longstaff twice now gets into the header, follows it up, scores a goal. He's on a hat-trick.
He is. And it's midway through the first half, and it's 2-1 to Newcastle United. Let's get an update from the Six Nations. Italy, England, Maz Faruqi.
The first points of the second half are England points. Scrum half Alex Mitchell picking up the ball, doing all the hard work himself, and Ford adding the extras. England are ahead for the first time in Rome. Italy 17, England 21.
Peterborough 0, Wigan 1, Leyton Orient 0, Carlisle 1 are two latest scores in League One. And the way that this game is being played, there's still more goals you sense every time. Here could be Newcastle now with Murphy, right corner of the area. Murphy with the cross, cleared away by Mengi.
By the way, to take nothing away from Luton, they're perfectly capable of scoring here as well. When they're in attack, they look very, very dangerous.
Scher coming forward, goes in pursuit of the ball, and barged into the back of Obeni. And because of his actions, Obeni's there trying to roll the ball and use his body to try and shield it away for a goal kick, but Scher wins a corner for Newcastle now.
Yeah, just pure physicality. And just at moments like these, when you've got an exciting game, you've got plenty of goals, the home team just taking ahead, this is a great place to watch a game of football and feel the tension and feel just one of the great atmospheres of English football.
Newcastle United 2, Luton Town 1. Corner kick near side the left. They're attacking the Lees' end. They've got the short option for Trippier to Almiron. He finds him, and then he returns the ball to Trippier, plays it to the edge of the area, Guimaraes tries to get the shot away. Adebayo closes that down. Guimaraes is forced to retreat back towards Murphy, who was the last line of defence on the edge of his own centre circle because Newcastle had sent every defender forward. Almiron keeps the ball in play and does well. Trippier now on this left-hand side. His forward ball. Burn has stayed in attack. Burn might get there. Behind for another corner kick. Mad game.
Do you know what? I could see what Newcastle were trying to do at that corner kick there. Unfortunately, so could Luton. So they ended up back in their own half. I wonder if they'll try that one again. There was 3 players involved. They were trying to get Guimaraes on the ball, but it absolutely backfired. And as suspected, they will not try that again. Trippier going up there on his own.
Every orange shirt back inside the penalty area. At the Lees' end of the ground for another corner kick on this near side the left. This won't go short. Trippier is going to look for either a Botman, a Cher or a Burn. 3 tall defenders who stand out in that crowded area. Trippier fires it deep towards the far post and goes over everybody's head and out of play. It goes for a goal kick.
Well, Cher's excited every time the corner kick. Scores 2 from corners against Villa, didn't he? So desperate to get up there on the score sheet again.
Luton Town are yet to win this season when they've conceded first. They've drawn 3, they've lost 11 when it's happened on the 14 occasions. As Adebayo just comes across to get some verbal instructions from the dugout. 25 minutes played on 5 Live. Newcastle United through 2 goals from Sean Longstaff are leading Luton Town by 2 goals to 1 as Trippier plays the ball forcefully back to Dubravka. Dubravka strokes it. Almiron goes square. Longstaff. Now Murphy, midway through his own half. And Murphy will try and get away from the challenge of Bell and succeeds. And carves the ball forward for Miley, who'd made that run. And it required Doughty to play the ball to Kaminsky, but his touch let him down and he's forced to concede the corner because of Newcastle's pressure. A goal at stroke, Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Leicester City, long overdue. Dewsbury Hall made it, greater determination, crossed it over to the far post, and there the knock on was Patson Daka. Easy goal, but well played, Dewsbury Hall. Stoke 0, Leicester 1.
Leaders Leicester ahead. Southampton, who were 4th, they're winning. Ipswich Town, who were 3rd after Leeds United's win last night, losing 2-0 at Deepdale. Colchester 0, Forest Green 2 is the latest score now in League 2. Newcastle United 2-1 up at home to Luton Town. Brighton 1, Palace 0. Burnley 0, Fulham 2. Corner kick was deliberately aimed towards Gordon, low, cut out. Doughty now on the counter-attack can lead the charge. He's only got to go it himself though, as he runs forward on that far side to left. And he was tracked back all the way by Murphy. And out it goes for a throw. An update from Brighton now, John Akers.
Wharton is on for his debut for Palace. It's Brighton 1, Palace 0. Gahey's had to go off injured. Brighton 1, Palace 0.
28 minutes played for what has felt at times a rather breathless half of football.
Yeah, you expect games to kind of fall into a pattern. That hasn't really fallen into a pattern yet, which is a great thing because players can find different spaces. Lots of interesting things going in. Watching Bruno Guimaraes playing against, not directly all the time, but Barkley, they just give each other space. Well, you have the ball, I'll have the ball. So both are able to control parts of the game.
Well, here is Guimaraes now coming forward, and he tried to slide it into the inside right channel, but it was too far ahead of Murphy, and it runs out of play for a goal kick.
Just a moment before, in the right hand side, Newcastle had a corner kick again, and they tried something tricksy again. And again, they completely blew it. I think they just got to get the ball in the box. It's twice they've tried tricksy corners. And, well, they'll say they've not had enough time on the training ground because they were playing 8:15 the other night.
Yes, they were. Here is Murphy. Murphy chips the ball into the box and caught by Kaminsky. I was at the 7:30 game. That felt old school at the City Ground on Tuesday. Here is O'Benny. Runs away from Miley, carries it a long way, then looks to outstrip Byrne, and he's done that with his pace. Byrne knows back goal side, and then shields him away from the penalty area. Lokonga now with Clark. Clark plays it in low, cleared on the full by Botman, only as far as Barkley. Doughty's in space on that far side to the left. Barkley rolls it, O'Benny controls it, right side, doubled up on him. Back then towards Mengi, infield to Barkley once again. Lokonga, Clark, Barkley playing in front of Newcastle at the moment. And the ball now played out by Amari Bell. Doughty's cross was blocked, comes back to Doughty, swings it over. Adebayo tried to control it, couldn't get it under full control, and then Cher has played a really intelligent ball to try and feed it to Gordon, took him out wide, and that required Osho dragged across with Gordon, who then put it out of play for a throw.
And of course he was the last man in defence, and he was 20 yards inside the opposition yards again. Now, come on, the Kaminsky, the goalkeeper, he's going to be the man who's going to play as the sweeper there. But it's such a gap. Gordon's desperate to get the ball.
Dundee 1, Hearts 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Cheltenham 0, Wycombe 2 is the latest score in League 1. Adebayo for Luton Town, meanwhile, on the right-hand side of the Newcastle penalty area, goes in between two Newcastle players, look for a free kick, not awarded, and then he fouls Bruno Guimaraes. Lincoln, who are without a win in 9, are down to 10 men. They're trailing away, they're drawing up Burton Albion. Burton 0, Lincoln City 0, and there's been another goal at Stoke. Murphy.
Another one, Ian, for Leicester City. This one, I reckon, an own goal. McAteer had a dip from 25 yards, deflected by Wilmot, a big deflection, totally wrong-footed, Bonham in goal. McAteer will claim it, but I reckon that's a Wilmot own goal. Stoke 0, Leicester 2, good value for this.
Thanks, Pat. Straight to Bolton in League 1. Charlie Slater.
Where it's Bolton 0, Barnsley 1, but it should be 2-0 now to Barnsley. They had a 4-on-2 a few moments ago. Adam Phillips should have scored, or he should have crossed it. He did neither, and it's still 1-0 to Barnsley.
Botman from the back, played Gordon. Gordon sometimes he's down the left, sometimes he's through the middle. On that occasion he's racing away down the right hand side.
I mean, he's normally is the centre forward today, but you're absolutely right. Basically play along the line, anywhere along the line, try and drag players. Remember, he's playing against a back three, so it's a much different thing than we'd be used to, but he's playing it well. He's been very hard to mark. By the way, keep on thinking big Dan Burn. Being asked to play against two of the quickest players you will see in the Premier League in the space of 3 or 4 days, you must be thinking, thanks Gaffer, you'll be shouting at Almeida and get back here and help me.
Well, when he changed it in midweek, he brought on Livramento, and that helped, didn't he?
He put Dan Burn as a left centre back, so he was basically covering 2 of them were marking him, and it worked there.
Let's get another update in the rugby. Maz Faruqi.
Penalty for England from distance, but central, and George Ford had no trouble putting that one away. So an unanswered try, a converted try now. Penalty for England in this second half. Italy 17, England 24.
Murphy to the edge of the area, tried to play it into to Guimaraes. Guimaraes has got a blow on the knee and has stayed down inside the penalty area. Wouldn't quite run for him, and he stayed down. Newcastle still lead by 2-1. Clark coming forward now for Luton Town. The Newcastle fans are whistling, but it's not a head injury, and he's now back on his knees and now on his feet is Guimaraes as O'Benny goes down, and that'll be a free kick to Luton Town. Another goal in the Premier League. It's at Brighton. John Akers.
And it's another one for Brighton. Brighton 2, Palace 0 with 13 minutes to go to half-time. It's a little dinked cross into the penalty area, and Hinchelwood heads back across the goalkeeper and in off the post to make it 2-0.
Burnley 0, Fulham 2 elsewhere. Brighton looking to extend their home run to 11 games unbeaten at the Amex in all competitions. Barkley, forward ball along the ground. Adebayo holds it up, lays it out towards the left-hand side. Morris back to Doughty. Now back with Barkley, spreads play from that central midfield role, bounces off the right shin of O'Benny down towards the corner flag, and then gets a push in the back from Verne, and then that goes out of play for a throw. 11 minutes to go to half-time. Newcastle 2, Luton 1. Here's Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and it's not slowed down at all. There's so many different and interesting individual battles going on here. No great technical changes or tactical changes in the game. I think Luton, although 2-1 down, still think they're well capable of coming back and getting something out of this game.
Charlton Athletic without a win in 11. Curtis Fleming is the caretaker manager. They've fallen behind at the Valley. Derby lead by a goal to 0. Newcastle United can run forward now, and all of a sudden it's 5 against 4 in favour of Newcastle. Trippier to Murphy. Murphy with a cut back. Gordon is there. Shot blocked. Runs to Almiron far side. Almiron then delivers the cross back towards the far post. And then eventually it's away by Ross Barkley, and another goal at Brighton. John Akers.
This is turning into a rout. It's Brighton 3, Palace 0. Lovely play from Gross, who laid it into the path of Buenanotte. First time, left foot, curler into the far corner. Brilliant. It's Brighton 3, Palace 0.
Bristol, but that's a fixture as well that is in recent seasons has had a tendency to be drawn a lot of the time. But Palace 6 without a win away from home and 3-0 down at their arch rivals. That won't go down well. Burnley 0, Fulham 2 remains the latest score at Turf Moor. And Everton, with that injury time equaliser from Branthwaite, climbing out of the relegation zone at the expense of Luton Town, who are trailing here by 2-1. But Bell has carried the ball out of defence. Adebayo, left-hand side of the area, back towards Bell. Bell tries to square it, takes a deflection, allows Botman to clear, only as far as Bell. They gave it away cheaply, did Newcastle United. Here now is Barkley, 30 yards out from goal. 10 minutes to go to half-time on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. O'Benny, right-hand side. He waits, can't deliver the cross. Instead he goes infield, along the ground. Now with Lokonga, on loan from Arsenal. Barkley, everything goes through Barkley. Adebayo, Clark looks for the return of Adebayo. I thought he was going to get there. Just couldn't get his left leg out in order to stab it goalwards as we go back to Rich Wolfenden at Edgeley Park in League 2.
Yeah, top of League 2, Stockport are level. Macaulay saw them with some brilliant wide play, pulled the cross back into the 6-yard box area, and Connor Lemonhay-Evans was there to equalise. 1-1.
9 minutes to go to half-time. Miley gets a free kick for Newcastle United. Left-hand side.
He just wallops away, doesn't he? He doesn't look as if he's sprinting at any point in time. The ball just goes over the top, and he just gets into that dangerous area. It's an easy ball, you don't have to do anything complicated, just hit it over the top and have willing runners to chase it if you're Newcastle.
Ross County 0, St Johnstone 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Update from Lee Blakeman at Turf Moor.
Burnley 0, Fulham 2, but it should be 3. Pereira's just been played in one-on-one, left side of the area, tried a fierce shot, saved well this time by Trafford at his near post. It's all Fulham. Burnley 0, Fulham 2.
Trippier trundles across to this near side. The Newcastle left, midway through the Luton half. Luton have got everybody back in their orange shirts on the edge of the area. You've got Almiron and Gordon who loiter outside the box. Trippier, in it goes, headed out by Barkley. Gordon's going to leave it towards Murphy, comes forward from the centre circle, and that's a rather aimless ball. Will go straight out of play for a goal kick. Hibs 0, St Mirren 2. So St Mirren have increased their lead at Easter Road, and it's Crawley 1, Morecambe 1 as the latest score in League 2. After Sports Report at 5, the results and the reaction with Mark Chapman. Sheffield United Aston Villa is our next commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live at 5:30, and then it's 6:06. 5 Live's Premier League Sunday from midday tomorrow. Manchester United West Ham at 2, to be followed by Arsenal Liverpool, the game of the weekend at 4:30. Clark, right corner of the area. Eventually he finds Morris, but that was down to the perseverance of Morris rather than the actual ball itself. O'Benny now comes forward for Luton. Turns, right corner of the area. Mengi, back with Barkley. Lokonga, 30 yards out. Forward ball. Adebayo makes the spin. Just tried to turn on the inside of Cher. It came off the legs of Cher and behind for a corner kick. They're underway in the racing. It's the Irish Gold Cup and the Dublin Racing Festival at Leopardstown. John Hunt.
Just taking fence number 3 here, Ian, early stages, and the Cheltenham Gold Cup winner Galopin Deschamps left alone with the lead, 3 lengths clear early from his main rival Fast and Slow. Conflated, the winner 2 years ago, is 3rd, and I Am Maximus in 4th. Galopin Deschamps then making the early running here at Leopardstown.
Back with you very soon. Corner comes in from the left from Doughty, headed out by Byrne. Very crowded penalty box. O'Benny for Luton gets it away from Gordon. Amari Bell now will run out towards that left-hand side. Doughty looking to deliver the cross, unable to do so, plays it short infield. Barkley with his back to goal now turns the way that Luton are playing, which is from left to right. They trail by 2-1 here on 5 Live. They were level, and it was not even for 2 minutes after that Osho header in off the underside of the crossbar, as Longstaff put Newcastle United with his second of the afternoon back in front. And Luton Town have been forced back as we have 6 minutes remaining of normal time. A lot more clear blue sky above St James's Park. Cross comes in, Adebayo there, gathered safely by Dubravka.
Yeah, Dubravka's went down and then held on to it for a moment as if to calm things down, and that makes perfect sense. However, it's been very rare in this game because every time they get the ball, they want to get it and just launch themselves upfield. The amount of times you've seen players running with the ball 60 or 70 yards without being tackled in this game, very unusual for the Premier League.
Almiron leaves it for Guimaraes links up with Gordon. Gordon then passes the ball out towards the right. Nobody there. A goal at Norwich City in the Championship. Aaron Paul.
No goal yet. Two really good sides trading blows here, though. Norwich have had the better of the chances through Sargent and Fastnack. It is Norwich 0, Coventry 0.
Mea culpa. 5 minutes to go to half time. Lokonga. Morris now for Luton Town. Barkley.
Never run up. Chapman will be listening.
Here is Barkley running forward, running at the heart of the Newcastle defence, lays it out towards Doughty. Doughty, good one-handed save, comes out to Barkley. Luton Town a level. Ross Barkley could not miss inside the 6-yard box, and for the second time this afternoon, Luton Town a level. And I told you, Barkley loves scoring against Newcastle. 2-2.
He certainly does. He's controlled large parts of this game, but he's been doing it from deep areas. But on this occasion, he made sure that he followed up there. But the break down the left, nothing particularly complicated about it. Trippier was drawn in there. But when it's played out wide, because you've got a big centre forward there, Adebayo, who's going to go and drag players out of the way, it leaves a gap there. Keeper Dubravka pushes it out, and it's the easiest tap in the wall for Ross Barkley.
It was Doughty's shot that was initially saved, but he could not miss from there. Elsewhere in the Championship on this busy Saturday afternoon, another goal at Rotherham, Chris Colt.
And another goal for Southampton, who now lead bottom side Rotherham by 2-0. Ryan Fraser back to Adam Armstrong, his 15th of the season. Rotherham 0, Southampton 2.
Let's get an update from that Irish Gold Cup at Leopardstown. He must be, halfway through? John Hunt.
Just after halfway here. Galopin Deschamps still leads, fast or slow, jumping brilliantly, a close second now. Conflated in third, and Ian Maximus is dropping away. Galopin Deschamps leads as they reach now the last 2 or 3 minutes of the race.
Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1 is the latest score at Fir Park in the Scottish Premiership. 4 minutes to go to half time. Newcastle United 2, Luton 2.
It's such a hard game to call. Who's the better team at the moment? You can, because it's so end to end, and different styles that they're playing just now. But 1 minute you think, Newcastle look fantastic, but it's having no effect whatsoever in Luton. They keep on going.
Barkley looking to Doughty. They're playing with a lot more of a belief now, Luton, these days.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've said right at the start of the game, if you've got a manager that's got that confidence, even when you're losing, even when it looks like you've been dropped from the pack, it can filter through, and it's clearly filtered through. Each time they've gone behind, I've not thought, well, that's them done. You've thought, they'll have a go going, they keep on going.
They almost won the ball again with the press. It was Cher who's able to clear it long. Osho's header goes up in the air. Wrexham have got a goal back at Salford. Salford 2, Wrexham 1 in League 2. Mengi forward. This is Clark. Nice turn by Clark midway through the Newcastle half. Adebayo, right corner of the area. Low cross. Morris is there. Almost had a little sniff.
Smith underlining as well. And the build up to the second goal, the second equaliser. Bartley gets it in the midfield. Now, saying he was driving forward, he had a long way, he drove forward, but he kept on going. It was all his goal. Yes, there's other players involved, but he was the one that started it and he was the one that finished it.
Leyton Orient 1, Carlisle 1 is the latest score in League 1. As we're going to go racing, it's the Irish Gold Cup. John Hunt.
They've just touched down over the second last, a long run to the last. Galopin Deschamps leads. His nemesis, fast or slow, the horse who's beaten Galopin Deschamps twice in the last 2 years, is in second place but ridden along. Conflated, still just about in it in third place, the winner from 2 years ago. Now at this stage last year, Galopin Deschamps shot clear to stake his Gold Cup claims. He hasn't yet shaken off fast or slow, nor Conflated for that matter. Down to the last fence they come. Galopin Deschamps then with a narrow advantage. Up and over safely. Conflated made a mistake, loses his rider, went in third place. So Galopin Deschamps from fast or slow onto the run-in, up towards the line, and just like last year, Galopin Deschamps finding plenty. The Gold Cup hero back in business, heading to Cheltenham in 6 weeks' time as hot favourite to win the Gold Cup again. Today he's beaten fast or slow, fair and square.
6 weeks and you'll get the best possible coverage with that man there, John Hunt, on BBC Radio 5 Live throughout every day of the Cheltenham Festival. Now let's bring you up to date with the latest scores elsewhere. Rangers lead Livingston by 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Preston 3, Ipswich 0, Watford 0, Cardiff 1, and indeed we can now go to Conor McLaughlin at Ibrox.
Yeah, it's been coming for the home side. Fabio Silva was with his first goal for the club from the corner. The header looked as though it had been cleared. It came back in, fell to the ground, and Silva was there to tap it into the back of the net. Rangers 1, Livingston 0.
And that of course is important because Celtic Celtic dropped points at Pittodrie, so Rangers started that game 6 points behind Celtic, but that game against Livy, bottom of the table, is one of their 2 games in hand. Ipswich Town continue to falter. They've conceded again. Ellen Ellard.
Preston North End 3, Ipswich Town 0, and it's all Ipswich own doing. Halaki with a poor and short pass to Sam Morsey. It's all just too inviting for Wilkie, now on a hat-trick against his former club. Preston North End 3, Ipswich 0.
Incidentally, one of the games of the quarter-finals will be live on BBC 3 tonight at 8 o'clock. Cape Verde against South Africa. The winners will play Nigeria in the semi-finals. That takes place on Wednesday. DR Congo and Nigeria going through yesterday, so that's live on BBC 3 at 8 o'clock tonight. Match of the day tonight, 20 past 10, as we are now into 4 minutes of stoppage time at St James's Park. Newcastle 2, Luton 2.
It's flown by. If we take any more time here, because you wouldn't be surprised if another goal before half time.
In comes the Newcastle free kick, headed away by Mengi, headed back by Miley, drops towards Longstaff. They get it out towards Scher. He was impeded a little bit there inside the penalty area, and then he pulls the shirt of O'Benny, and it gives away a free kick, a blatant free kick for Luton Town.
More often than not, you'll get a yellow card for that, but I think the referee understood. He'd been blocked a little bit himself, and well done for O'Benny. Just got up, didn't make a big song and dance about it.
I don't know about you, but I can't wait for the second half.
Yeah,
it's been one of those afternoons.
It is one of those, and you do hope sometimes these games you turn up the second half and you're all excited and they die away. It doesn't feel like one of those today, because neither team has that attitude.
Let's get another update in the Six Nations. Maz Faruqi.
Forward with another penalty for England, so it's now Italy 17, England 27, 67 minutes played, and a couple of uncapped players coming on in the second half for England, Cullingham South and Finn Smith.
Commentary of that continues on Sports Extra. Hibs 0, St Mirren 3 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Luton Town, twice they've come from behind. Level. Lokonga goes very, very deep to collect that ball off Osho. They've got the first equaliser for Luton. Back with Lokonga once again. Now out towards that far side. Amari Bell. Doughty dropping back from his left wing-back role. And then Luton Town playing the ball back to Kaminski. Kaminski all in green away towards our left. Flat ball to Adebayo. Clark losing his balance but doing well to retain possession for Luton Town. Back towards Barkley. Doughty on that left hand side runs infield now, and now does a very good ball to pick out Clark. Morris holds it up. Barkley comes onto it. Midway through the Newcastle half, central position. Out to O'Benny. Right corner of the area. O'Benny doubled up again on this near side. Byrne gets it away to Almiron. There's no necessary outball for them, as it's now with Guimarães. He rolls it to Gordon, who's come very, very deep to collect this ball. Osho has gone with him. He does release it out towards the right for Trippier. Murphy's going on ahead of him. Longstaff through the middle. Longstaff now collects it. Touches the ball with a pass out towards Murphy, who sends in the first time cross, and Mengi didn't get the shout from his goalkeeper, and with an outstretched left leg conceded a corner. 2-2. You're
absolutely right. Keeper just got to walk out and pick it up there, but you can't take a chance. And if you can hear the goalkeeper, which wouldn't be surprising with the noise that's going on in here, you have to put it out. But one more chance for Newcastle.
So Newcastle United attacking the Leazes end. Black and white striped shirts are plenty to aim for. With the exception of Murphy, every other outfield player is in and around that Luton penalty box. Outswinging corner from Trippier, flicked on by Byrne. It appeals for handball in there.
I think the push they were shouting for as well was a Guimarães who was in there. He went down, he thought he was going to header it, but I think he just wasn't strong enough. They'll have a look, but I'm not convinced.
Trippier then sends over the cross, and it goes out off the head of Morris. The fact that the throw's already been taken and the ball is back in play, VAR would have dismissed those calls for Newcastle United. Trippier back with Botman, left of the centre circle, switches it out towards the right. Murphy, he's got the left. He's got Longstaff going on the overlap if need required. Instead, he goes infield. Miley. Luton Town though keeping their shape well, and that is the end of what has been a very enjoyable half. Newcastle 2, Luton 2. 2 goals from Longstaff, Osho and Barkley responding for Luton Town. Pat Nevin.
You know, it's almost stating the obvious. In a 2-2 game, you have no idea where the way this is going to go. But it could go any way. I mean, Newcastle could stride away and cruise it. It's good Luton just now. The one thing you don't expect to happen now is it to go and fritter out to a dull 2-2 draw at the end of the game. This has got more to come.
More of the same, yes please. Half time at St James's Park. Newcastle 2, Luton 2.
Cracking first half at St James's Park. Finished 2-2 at Goodison earlier between Everton and Tottenham. Jarrod Branthwaite with a late equaliser for Sean Dyche's side. Back to the 3 o'clocks. Miserable first half at home again for Burnley. Lee Blakeman.
Burnley 0, Fulham 2. Very comfortable for the visitors. 1 up after 18. Polinia with a flicked header off a Pereira corner. Muniz chipped Trafford to make it 2. 3 minutes later, Burnley's best and only real chance came from Odebear, left side of the area, bulldozed his way in, shot straight across the face of goal, very close, went wide though. Fulham by far and away the better of the two teams, leading Burnley 2-0.
It's taken them a while this afternoon, but Rangers have broken Livingston's resistance. Connie McLaughlin.
They have, and it was a cheeky shot from Rabbi Matondo, just on the edge of the box. In fairness, he didn't look as if he was under any pressure. I think the Livingston defence thought he was contained, but I think he just saw a little bit of space, right-footed shot into the back of the net. I think it might have took a slight deflection. He's not going to care. Rangers 2, Livingston 0.
Still playing at Brighton. Crystal Palace probably wish this was all over now. John Akers.
I'd have thought so, yeah. Lerma's just had a deflected effort over the crossbar for Palace, who've had a few half chances. They've been poor at the back. Brighton have been excellent. Brighton 3, Palace 0.
Let's go into the Championship. We'll start with the leaders, Leicester at Stoke. Pat Murphy.
They're winning 2-0. The cigars aren't quite out yet, but it's a fairly comfortable passage for Leicester. 2 goals in 3 minutes. Daka finishing off a move orchestrated by Dewsbury Hall. A tap-in. McAteer, 25 yards out, had a go, took a big deflection from Wilmot. I'll leave it to the others to decide whether that's known goal or not. But McAteer shouldn't have been on the pitch thereafter, pushing Berger to the ground, escaped with a yellow. Lucky boy. Stoke 0, Leicester 2.
Southampton on course to make it 21 unbeaten in the league. Chris Coles.
Indeed, they lead Rotherham by 2-0, as comfortable as the scoreline suggests. A Jan Bednarek header from a corner. Adam Armstrong slotted in his 15th of the season before half-time. Stuart Armstrong hit a post and had a one-on-one well saved in between the 2 goals. Southampton are cruising. They lead Rotherham 2-0.
Half-time whistle has gone. Brighton are cruising. John.
Yeah, Brighton 3, Palace 0, and it could have been more, to be honest. They've been excellent, Brighton. I was having a conversation with someone just before the game saying I thought this could be 0-0. So that shows what I know.
Got that spot on?
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely in-depth analysis there, because Eze and Elise were missing. Then I thought Brighton haven't scored a goal all year. It could be 0-0, but they have been really good. Dunk with a header from a corner. Hinchelwood with a downward header. And then Buonanotte with a lovely curling effort with his left foot. Couple of assists for Gross, and Palace haven't troubled Brighton often enough. Boos from the Palace fans at half-time, 3-0.
Shaq Ford has scored twice for Leyton Orient this afternoon. He's got 8 for the season, and they've turned it around. They've gone from 1-0 down at home to lead by 2-1. They're on course to make it unbeaten in their last 7. Back to the Six Nations, where England have taken control of this second half. Maz Faruqi.
They have. Italy haven't scored in this second half. Still Italy 17, England 27. Remember, they were trailing 17-14 at half-time, England. 8 minutes to play in Rome. And just to confirm, those 2 uncut players coming on in the second half, Chandler Cunningham-Smith and Finn Smith as well. Questions whether perhaps he should have started Sam Underhill and George for the players to make way. Italy 17, England 27.
Let's go back to the half-times in the Championship to Becky Ives next at the Hawthorns.
Yeah, it's goalless between West Brom and Birmingham. To tell it's a derby game. Great atmosphere. Challenges have been flying in. The ref has been letting it go. Pretty end-to-end, but neither side have managed to find that clinical finish. Best chance for West Brom fell to Kyle Bartley. His head connected from a throw-in, but it went down and wide. For Birmingham, couple of long-range shots, but nothing really to trouble the goal yet. West Brom 0, Birmingham 0.
Not many goals around in a lot of Championship games. Another 0-0 at Carrow Road. Aaron Paul.
No goals, but loads of action, Mark. This has been a really high quality watch end-to-end throughout, with both sides having chances. Josh Sargent has been lively for the home side, whilst Fasnacht and Gabriel Sara have tested Collins in the Coventry goal. The visitors have been busy as well, right and talk with fizzing shots. Ellis Sims is a constant danger. We just do lack that crucial goal goal, don't we? At the break, it is Norwich 0, Coventry 0.
And they lack a goal at Huddersfield Sheffield Wednesday as well. Sani?
Yeah, they do. Silver Thomas had an effort smothered from an angle, and for Huddersfield, and for Wednesday they had an effort off the line early on as well. Lots of huffing and puffing. The Wolf is at the door, but both houses still stand at the break. Huddersfield 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Blackburn 0, QPR 0. Hull lead Millwall by a goal till Jayden Philogene on his return from injury has got his 7th of the season there. Swansea 0, Plymouth 1. Morgan Whittaker has got that. He can't stop scoring this season. 17 for the season. They're unbeaten at Plymouth under their new manager, Ian Foster. It's Watford 0, Cardiff 1 at Vicarage Road. Josh Bowler has got that goal. Maybe the most surprising scoreline of the day in the Championship comes at Deepdale. Ellen Ellard.
Yeah, Preston 3, Ipswich 0, and Ipswich throwing away an opportunity to go back into the automatic places, and it's been mostly their own doing. 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Will Keane's deflected shot in off Edmondson. Rees then had the second, an easy finish after Ipswich were caught in possession, and then Will Keane again against his former club, capitalising on a defensive howler as they tried to play out from the back. Ipswich, as it stands, dropping to 4th. Preston 3, Ipswich 0.
Let's go round all the 3 o'clock games in League One next. At lunchtime, Oxford 1, Reading 1 was how it finished. Bolton are behind at the break. Charlie Slater.
They are. Bolton 0, Barnsley 1, but one of the most entertaining halves I've seen all season. Wonderfully open. Bolton have had loads of chances, but Barnsley lead through Devante Cole's close range finish inside the 5th minute. Despite relentless Bolton pressure, Barnsley should have had at least 2 or 3 of their own, but as it is, Bolton 0, Barnsley 1.
Elsewhere in League One, Burton 0, Lincoln 0, and Lincoln are down to 10 in that for the second half. They're still playing at the Valley. Charlton 0, Derby 1. Nathaniel Mendez-Lang with the goal there for Paul Warren's side. That's 8 for the season for him. Cheltenham, who've won 2 of their last 3 at home, are behind at the break. Cheltenham 0, Wickham 2. Bristol Rovers lead at Exeter by a goal to 0. Fleetwood are a goal up at home to Port Vale. They're still waiting for that first win under Charlie Adam. Jayden Stockley has got that goal, 6 for the season for him. As I mentioned, Shaq Ford has got both Leyton Orient goals as they've come from behind to lead Carlisle 2-1 at the break, and Ford has now got 8 this season. Half-time at Peterborough, and they trail at home to Wigan. Peterborough 0, Wigan 1. Leaders Portsmouth are 2-0 up at home to Northampton. Paddy Lane got one of those goals, 8 for the season for him. All square between Shrewsbury and Cambridge and 1-1, and it's Stevenage 0, Blackpool 0. Into League 2, Newport came from a goal down earlier to beat Swindon by 2-1. In the 3 o'clock games, we're with the leader Stockport at home to Harrogate. Rich.
Yeah, half-time, and it's 1-1. Harrogate took the lead through Dean Cornelius. Not long after, though, Stockport found their equaliser through Connor Lemonhay-Evans. They've been in control since, but haven't been able to find a second. 1-1 at half-time.
A goal has seen Accrington and Grimsby and Barrow and MK Dons and Bradford City and AFC Wimbledon. The bottom side are ahead at the break. Colchester 0, Forest Green Rovers 2. Matt Stevens with his 11th of the season, and Christian Doidge with the goals for Steve Cotterell's side. Crawley 1, Morecambe 1. Gillingham 0, Walsall 0. Mansfield lead Notts County by a goal to 0. They're not in great form, aren't Mansfield? They haven't won in their last 4. And Davis Keeler Dunn has got their goal, 15 for the season now for him. Salford lead Wrexham by 2-1. Sutton 0, Doncaster 0. And Tranmere 0, Crewe 0. In the National League this afternoon, Barnet 1, Wealdstone 0, Bromley 1, Hartlepool 1, Dorking 0, AFC Fylde 2, 10-man Eastleigh 0, Leaders Chesterfield 1, FC Halifax 1, Aldershot 0, Kidderminster 0, Oxford City 2, Rochdale 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 2, Solihull Moors 0, Altrincham 1, goalless between Southend and Gateshead, 10-man Boreham Wood are a goal up at Woking, and it's York 1, Maidenhead 1. In the Women's Super League earlier, it finished Aston Villa 2, Bristol City 2. England have a man in the sin bin for the last 5 minutes. Maz Faruqi.
They do. Elliot Daly's been sent to the bin for tripping Tommaso Minicello. Pretty cynical trip, actually. Stuck out his left boot. The referee showing him a yellow card. The bonus point win looked unlikely anyway for England, in truth, but they're going to play out the last 3.5 minutes now of this match with 14 men. Italy 17, 14 man, England 27.
That's our Sports Extra. Wales, Scotland at 4:45 on Sports Extra and also on BBC One. In the Scottish Premiership earlier, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. In the 3 o'clocks, Dundee are a goal up at home to Hearts. Hibs 0, St Mirren 3. Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1. Ross County 0, St Johnstone 1. And at Ibrox, Connie?
Yeah, Rangers 2 is Livingston 0, and Rangers on track to cut the gap on Celtic because of that earlier result against Aberdeen you mentioned. It was Fabio Silva with his first goal for the club from the corner mark. It looked as though it had been cleared, but it fell to the ground, and then Silva was there to slot it home. Then a little bit of creativity for the second. Rabbi Matondo doubling the lead just on half time. It did take them a while, especially with so much pressure, because they know they have to win this to cut the gap, as I mentioned. But as it stands right now, it looks as though, and I don't want to tempt fate if you're a Rangers fan, it might be a straightforward afternoon after all. Rangers 2, Livingston 0.
In the Scottish Championship, nobody near the top of the table seems to want to make a real run at this. Dundee United are the leaders. They've only won one of their last three. Raith in second have lost their last three. Raith against Partick was postponed. Dundee United losing this afternoon 1-0 at Ayr. Two other games in the Championship: Dunfermline 0, Morton 2 and Inverness 0, Queen's Park 0. Four games in League One this afternoon: Annan 1, Alloa 2, Edinburgh City 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Queen of the South 0, Hamilton 0 and Stirling 1, Cove Rangers 0. In League 2 this afternoon, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Stranraer 0, Clyde 1, Peterhead 0, so that's the team in second losing. The team in third are losing as well. Spartans, they're a goal down at Forfar. It's Elgin 1, East 5-0. And Leeds Stenhouse Muir being held as well. That's goalless. So no side in the top six is actually winning in Scottish League 2 this afternoon. Earlier in the cricket, India closed 28 without loss in their second innings, having earlier bowled England out for 253. So they lead by 171 runs going into day 3 tomorrow. And there's just been a goal in the Asian Cup quarterfinals. Qatar lead Uzbekistan by a goal to nil earlier. Iran beat Japan by 2-1. Exactly 4 o'clock. Here's Jill McKenzie.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
History has been made in Belfast after the Northern Ireland Assembly appointed its first nationalist First Minister. Sinn Féin's Michelle O'Neill promised cooperation and genuine and honest effort and said she'd be a First Minister for all. The Deputy First Minister will be Emma Little-Pengelly from the Democratic Unionist Party.
Across this chamber, we have different political viewpoints and experiences. But what we also know is that the wee mummy waiting on her cancer diagnosis is not defined as being Republican or Unionist. She is defined by the sleepless nights and worry that she may never see her children grow up. The daddy fighting to get the right educational support for his child is not defined by orange or green, but by the stress and anxiety for the future of the child they love. Let this be our inspiration, for those are the issues that we can agree on. The challenges so many families face throughout Northern Ireland are the same, no matter where or what we are or believe. It is those shared problems that are blighting too many lives that we can work constructively, urgently together to improve.
Power sharing's now resumed in Northern Ireland. It had been suspended 2 years ago because the DUP objected to the post-Brexit trading arrangements. In other news today, Iraq says at least 16 people have been killed, including civilians, in a series of US airstrikes on sites linked to Iran. The Pentagon said the bombings were in response to the killing of 3 US soldiers in Jordan on Sunday by Iranian-backed militias. And police are urging a man suspected of throwing a corrosive substance at a woman and her children to hand himself in. Abdul Shakur Azidi was last seen on the London Underground at King's Cross on Wednesday.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman
on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Not long to go in Italy in the Six Nations. Maz Faruqi.
Final minute and England have opted to try and go for the line out and 7 points in the last 30 seconds rather than take the penalty. They're just lurking on Italy's try line. Down to 14 men, remember. Italy 17, England 27.
And then still to come, final match of this opening round of the Six Nations, Wales, Scotland on Sports Extra from 4:45. Daffy Jones is there for us.
Yeah, familiar Cardiff atmosphere under the shut Principality Stadium roof. Scotland eventually agreeing to its closure. Wales happy in their noisy cauldron. On the field, a raft of big names unavailable or retired. Wales coach Warren Gatland's been forced to name an inexperienced side. Extra lock David Jenkins, 21 years old, will become the second second youngest Welsh captain behind the great Sir Gareth Edwards. A settled-looking Scotland will surely fancy their chances, but they lost one here in Cardiff back in 2002.
Harry Kane has just put Bayern Munich 2-1 up in the Bundesliga against Borussia Mönchengladbach. With 20 minutes to go, they lead by 2-1. I think Italy have just been reduced to 14 now, have they, Maz?
Yeah, I think it's their captain, Lamero, who's just been shown a yellow card. As England looked likely to score a try. It was not a particularly legal challenge, and I think he was in an offside position, in fact, not a dangerous one, but an illegal challenge. So England is still going to try and perhaps add some more points on the board. The bonus point win unlikely, but they could get a third try. We've played 1 minute extra now, past the 80 at the moment.
Yeah, the clock is in the red, and yet England have picked to go with the scrum, maybe just to try and get some more points on the board. But they're going to win that game. They lead 27 points to 17. Let's go back to St James's Park. More of the same, please. Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Mark. Luton Town are already out. They haven't made any change, but I'm led that there's going to be a change for Newcastle United, and it's going to be Gordon who's going to be coming off, and Callum Wilson who's going to be coming on. He's missed the last 5 with a calf injury. So the Luton Town team is Kaminski in goal, a back 3 of Osho, Mengi and Bell. The wing-backs are Benny and Doherty, right and left. Clark, Lokonga, Barkley in the midfield, Morris and Adebayo. Orange shirts and white shorts and orange socks. They're defending the Gallagate end in this second half, and therefore they are playing from right to left as we look against the Newcastle United side in their black and white striped shirts, black shorts and white socks, and their change is Wilson for Gordon. So it means that Dubravka is in goal, a back 4 of Trippier, Botman, Sherburn, Miley, Guimaraes, Longstaff, Murphy, Almiron and Callum Wilson. And as we are underway, there's been a goal in the Championship early in the second half at Carrow Road, Aaron Paul.
Deadlock broken, Norwich 0, Coventry City 1, and this is stunning from Callum O'Hare on his left foot. He's jinked onto his right, left side of the area and just planted the ball past Angus Gold in the Norwich net. Norwich 0, Coventry 1.
On a great run of form. Unbeaten in 10 before today. Mind you, Norwich were unbeaten in 6 at Carrow Road before this afternoon. So early in the second half, we've still got the blue sky above St James's Park here on Tyneside. Newcastle 2, Luton 2, and a really entertaining first half. Here is Almiron to Trippier, and it strikes Bell and rebounds out of play for a throw. Pat Nevin.
I was saying down for a cup of tea at half time with Gary Flintop, and mentioned I thought Gordon looked a bit tired, getting a bit weary looking, and I just wonder, they've been waiting a long time to be able to switch and change players and give them a break now and again. We talked with Chappers before the game about this, and it makes perfect sense to me. He had done a good job there, but he was running out of gas already.
So Gordon off and Wilson on. Good to see him back involved after his absence with a calf injury. There's no Isak, incidentally, today, who's out with a groin injury that he picked up at Villa Park on Tuesday night. We did 10 live commentaries for you in midweek. This is the first of 6 this weekend in the Premier League, and we've also been busy with the Six Nations as well, as England comes to a close in Rome. Wales, Scotland will be on Sports Extra. We'll keep you in touch with the events in the Millennium Stadium, which that game is also live on BBC One a little later. But 2 minutes into the second half, it's Newcastle 2, Luton 2.
You would say this is the calmest 2 minutes we've had in the game so far.
Yeah.
Probably.
Hold on, as the ball is won by Sher. Shrewsbury 1, Cambridge 2 is the latest score. Almiron, you look for Trippier, who's gone down just outside the area. Trippier was looking to the referee, Tom Bramall, for a free kick on the edge of the box as Sher comes across, and it's gone out of play. It'll be a Newcastle throw. Trippier continues to his protest to the match official.
Yeah, the way it went, I thought he almost tripped over his own legs, but yeah, there was a little bit there, a little contact. I don't know if I'd call it a trip and Trippier, but there's a wee bit of contact, and he went down. Tough one for the referee to call.
Wilson trying to wriggle away and out of the grasp of Osho. Luton get it up to Adebayo. Ball is rolled out towards the far side. Murphy will get there. Murphy's forward ball cut out by Mengi. Comes back to Mengi quite quickly from the touch by O'Benny. Very tight and congested in there. And there is Barkley coming under pressure, but never looks phased, does he? Always looks calm in possession, Ross Barkley.
It's an old joke in football that players that are playing like Barkley just now, they get personal issues with their smell because no one will go near them. It's not that. It's because they're so good at making good space for themselves. I don't think he's going to get it in the centre. I think Eddie Howe will have spotted that. He's got too much space in that first half. He was controlling large parts of the game. You can't do that to a player of the quality of Ross Barkley.
Well, as the ball goes to Kaminsky, certainly Miley is keeping a beady eye on Barkley. Trippier for Newcastle United. Cheltenham 0, Wycombe 3 is the latest score in League One. Trippier works over the cross, blocked, out for a throw. Full time in Rome in the Six Nations, Maz Faruqi.
A late converted try from Monte Iona to add some gloss to a frustrating second half for Italy. They finished this match with a losing bonus point. England with an opening Six Nations win for the first time in 5 years, but this wasn't a vintage performance. Italy 24, England 27 at full time in Rome.
Reaction in Sports Report at 5 o'clock. The results and the reaction from all the football as well with Mark Chapman before Sheffield United Aston Villa as our next commentary. At 5:30, Chris Waddle joining Vicky Sparks at Bramall Lane. Ball inside, Murphy enters the penalty area. Murphy glides past the challenge and then Kaminsky closes down the angle with a save with his legs near post. Comes back out towards Byrne, plays it forward, still 2-2, 4 minutes into the second half, and Luton Town can now bring the ball away with the Irish international Benny. Inside to Barkley. Guimaraes was close towards him, ball goes back to Mengi. Mengi clears it out of play. Newcastle looking to try and press Luton Town there.
Yeah, well, that's twice now since the start of the second half that Barkley has been closed down really quickly. It didn't happen in the first half at all, and just to underline, he hasn't got personal hygiene problems. It was something that players in the game used to say. To be fair, that player we've not mentioned a lot, Jacob Murphy, he looks so elegant on the ball just now. His final ball hasn't been great today, but his build-up play has been superb.
It's a third successive start for Jacob Murphy as well after he missed 15 matches with a shoulder injury. Incidentally, the BBC statistician Chris Collinson was in touch at half-time, and he sent me a stat about Sean Longstaff that Newcastle have won 10 of the previous 11 when Longstaff has scored for Newcastle. They drew the other one, incidentally. That's not a bad record for Sean Longstaff, popping up with 2 goals, but twice Newcastle have been pegged back. As here we are at St James's Park. Guimaraes, it's the man we've just been talking about, Longstaff. Trippier, right corner of the area. Cher, we know he can shoot from distance. He comes forward. It was a tired looking effort off his left foot along the ground, and it was clear. Morris lays it out. Doherty closed down by Trippier. Rebound, falls towards Almiron, edge of the area. Almiron head down, runs forward, looks for a shooting opportunity. There isn't one, he'll go square. Flat-footed Miley gives the ball away, and now all of a sudden the break is on for Luton Town, and it's O'Benny, and he's making good progress as well on that far side, the right. He's got 2 ahead of him. One of them is Jordan Clark, who delivers the cross just over the head of Adebayo. Morris was making his way forward too. Trippier plays it back, now Longstaff. Luton Town though go in search of the ball. Guimaraes almost gives it away, but eventually reaches Almiron midway through his own half. The game's just starting to pick up again after what felt like a really chaotic first 45 minutes. 2-2 here on BBC Radio 5 Live in the World Service. Guimaraes being fouled, still manages to get the ball up towards Wilson. Murphy in space, he finds him, edge of the area. Murphy with a shot, blocked, comes out towards Miley, plays it back towards Murphy. Murphy inside the penalty area, shoots and lashes the ball wide for a goal kick. So we'll check in at Turf Moor. Burnley-Fulham, Lee Blakeman.
Burnley 0, Fulham 2. Burnley have started the second half slightly better. Brownhill's gone close with a shot from inside the area, and at half-time, Maxime Esteve, on loan from Montpellier, has come on for his Burnley debut. Burnley 0, Fulham 2.
2-2 here at St James's. Brighton and Hove Albion 3. Crystal Palace 0 is the latest score at the Amex. It earlier finished Everton 2, Tottenham 2. The game's tomorrow on 5 Live at 2 o'clock. Manchester United, West Ham. Arsenal, Liverpool with John Murray and Matt Upson at 4:30. Chelsea, Wolves, incidentally, that'll be on Sports Extra, as there is a hobbling Doherty away towards our right.
The Wolves game was very impressive during the week there. Very unlucky against Manchester United to partner brilliant. Well, certainly the final half hour was magnificent in that game.
They're going to take the free kick very, very slowly. And eventually they're going to leave it for Kaminsky. And in fact, the referee, Tom Bramall, is actually just telling Luton just to get on with it. This would be a precious point. I know there's still a long way to go in the second half, but they've got something to fight for, Luton.
Hey, if you get points away from home, 1 point away from home and win your home games, you're delighted with that.
And before today, 10 points out of a possible 15. Only Liverpool and Manchester City had collected more points than Luton Town in the last 5 games in the Premier League. Update from Brighton, John Akers.
Brighton 3, Palace 0. Gross has been allowed to shoot from distance, and now here comes another shot deflected wide. Brighton have started the second half well, leading 3-0. Palace have brought on Elise for Schlupp. Big 45 this for Roy Hodgson. It's Brighton 3, Crystal Palace 0.
Ball is out with Luton on the right-hand side. Obeni, Adebayo through the middle. Morris joining the attack. Obeni again with his searing pace. He goes down under the challenge from Byrne. The assistant referee raises his flag.
It didn't go across his chest, which is the first thing you want to look at. And maybe he's suggesting the free kick started outside the box. I mean, Dan Byrne can't get close to him for pace. I mean, he cannot get even near him. It's a no contest there.
It was just outside, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was 2 touches on his shoulder on that far side.
He knew what he was doing, Dan, didn't he? It's been really tough for him. Again, there's nothing much you can do if the player's just quicker than you. And he puts the ball past you and pins back his ears and goes. But Luton are furious they're not getting a penalty there.
And anybody who saw him play for Rotherham will know that this young man has got plenty of pace. Lincoln, who are down to 10 men, are leading at Burton by 1-0. Lincoln without a win in 9, but Burton 0, Lincoln 1 is the latest score in League One. VAR is actually having a look at this.
Well, with the idea that if it continues inside the box, which, to be fair, it looks as if it does for the angle we're seeing, doesn't it?
Well, VAR is Michael Salisbury at Stockley Park, so they are now checking for a possible penalty. And as Obeni enters the penalty area, Byrne looks like he's still got his hand on the shoulder of the Irish international.
Do you know, it looks a penalty to me. It really does. I mean, you never guess with VAR half the time now, but that looks very much like it's at least on the line. And of course we all know, if it's on the line, it's in the box.
They've had a look. Still we wait for the decision from Stockley Park. They're continuing to have a look. They've got different freeze frames. One of him from the camera, which is showing,
if they're brave, they're going to get it
from this side, and then another one from behind the goal. And the more you look at it, the more it looks like a penalty.
I mean, I can't see how it's not, I'll be honest with you. But obviously, VAR can disagree, they often do. There's a couple at Chelsea against Liverpool the other night were utterly beyond me. Bizarre how they weren't penalties.
Well, still they continue to look, and eventually the decision comes through to the referee, Tom Bramall, and he gives the penalty kick. Jan Byrne with a foul on Obeni. And Luton Town, who have twice come from behind, now have the opportunity to go in front. And it's Carlton Morris, who's already scored at Brighton and against Wolves in the Premier League from the spot this season.
We'll go on in a minute to whether Dan Byrne should have been left, because they've been talking about him since the start of the game and the difficulties he's had to cope with the pure pace, and he's not got close. It's a tough one to ask the big man to do that, but do you take him off now because you can't get near him, because that would be very distressing for him. We'll discuss that after the penalty kick.
Dubravka is told to get back to his goal line. It's at the Leesy's end of the ground, so we're looking away towards our left. And Morris waits. The Luton Town captain, stuttering run up with his spot kick, now right-footed, sends the keeper the wrong way.
Hadn't blown the whistle.
The referee says it's going to have to be retaken.
Well, he hadn't blown his whistle, and the referee wasn't even looking at the penalty kick, so that was silly. Now, to be honest, I have to have a word about Adebayo's on the edge of the box, pushing and pushing and pushing. His own player's the one who's under pressure. Don't do that. Don't stop it, because you're just putting your own player under more pressure. And he's done that, and his mate now needs to go up and stand up and try and take it again. and it's worse again.
Now, he rolled it right-footed to the right of the keeper as we looked. Dubravka dived to his right. What does he do this time? Morris, stuttering run it once more, right-footed, goes the right place, right time, and Luton Town, for the first time this afternoon, are leading. And what a scoreline this could be for Rob Edwards and his team. Newcastle 2, Luton 3, Morris from the spot.
Yeah, I mean, real nerves of steel there when he has to go up and take it again. Does a very similar thing with the second one there. And again, it doesn't shock you. They've been behind twice. They've kept on going. They absolutely believe in themselves. However, it's just walked straight into their arms. We all know Bunny has got much more pace than Dan Burn. He's done them all afternoon. You've got to give the big man help over there, because we just need to put it in behind him, and it's a no contest.
Peterborough 0, Wigan 2. Hearts have equalised at Dundee. Dundee 1, Hearts 1. Salford lead Wrexham by 3-1 in League 2. Tom McIntyre has been sent off for Portsmouth in League 1. They're leading Northampton at Fratton Park by 2-0. Cheltenham have got a goal back. Cheltenham 1, Wickham 3. And there's been a goal at Carrow Road, Aaron Paul.
Equaliser, Norwich 1, Coventry 1. Gabriel Saras cross off the left. Ashley Barnes with the initial shot, which was blocked, but it was hammered home on the volley by Josh Sargent. All square 1-1.
Well, would you believe that Luton Town have only ever had 2 wins in 27 visits to St James's Park, as there's going to be a yellow card shown to Lokonga. Their last was on this exact day in 1973. It was an FA Cup 4th round tie that John Aston scored 2 goals. You have to go back 87 years for their only league success at St James's Park.
I think they'll try to put that as the last thing in their mind just now. There's a long way to go in this game, and we just look down at Eddie Howe. Is there any changes that he can possibly make? You know, because they've not played badly in the second half, but there must be a temptation, because if the same thing happens again and Bonner runs away from Dan Burn again, the question has to be asked to the manager.
Morris, no foul against Almiron. Newcastle United complain. Morris up towards Adebayo, cleared away by Botman, comes back to the centre circle, barge in the back by Botman on Adebayo, but he uses his strength and his balance superbly well. And then Clark is challenged by Byrne, who wins the ball for Newcastle United, who now trail by 3-2. Murphy. Blackburn 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1 is the latest score at Ewood Park. Blackburn without a win in 7 in the Championship. The back heel from Byrne into the penalty area, cleared by Osho. Dundee now lead Hearts 2-1. Goal at Rangers, Conor McLaughlin.
It's another one for the home side. Todd Cantwell it was who got the fans off their feet this time. It was made though by Ross McCausland. He flashed a shot in front of goal and Cantwell was there to burst the net. Remember, Rangers on track to cut the gap to Celtic to 3 points with that game in hand. Rangers 3, Livingston 0.
Luton with the break. Doherty, Barkley enters the area. Adebayo outside in! Scores! Adebayo rifles the ball into the bottom left-hand corner. And Luton Town now lead Newcastle by 4-2. What a bonanza of a week this could be. It could yet yield back-to-back wins in the Premier League. What a scoreline.
Phenomenal play. And they knew what the weakness is. I hate to do it again, but Dan Burn had ran to centre forward and gave the ball away when he was up there. He just broke into the area where he should be. His player, Gimenez, has turned around and shouted at him for doing it. Played into the back post, and Adebayo, the form he's in just now, hat-trick recently, he's not going to miss that, even though it's from an angle. 4-2, and you can't see any way back for Newcastle just now. Incredible start to the second half.
Luton Town finding their feet and some in the top flight.
You know, I talked the other night about Aston Villa being far too slow to make the changes they had to make, and they lost the game the time they made the changes. Livramento's coming on now. Last 5 minutes ago, you really football's hard. Football's really horrible, and it might hurt a little bit. But you know, when you're getting destroyed down one line, you need to do something about it if you're the manager, however painful it is.
Portsmouth 3, Northampton 0. And Leyton Orient lead Carlisle 3-1. Almiron is coming off. Meanwhile, there's a penalty at Stoke. Pat Murphy.
It's to Leicester City. They lead 2-0. Fatawu is over the ball. This after a superb run by Fast from deep inside his own half. Brought down by a sandwich of Stoke players. Definitely a penalty, in my opinion. It's 2-0 at the moment for Leicester City. And Fatawu will take this penalty kick in front of the travelling Leicester City supporters. What a moment for them. And this could seal the game as the referee, Lewis Smith, restores order, make sure that everybody is out of the penalty area. It's 2-0 to Leicester City. Right foot from Fatawu. Steadies himself, runs up now. And it's 3-0. Sends the keeper the wrong way, to the left, with a double somersault to celebrate. Stoke 0, Leicester 3.
That'll be without a win in 8 at home in the Championship for Stoke City. Queen's Park Rangers, incidentally, have got a second goal at Ewood Park. Blackburn 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2, Fleetwood 2, Port Vale 0. Charlie Adam will hope this time that he gets his first win as Fleetwood manager. Here at St James's Park, Newcastle 2, Luton 4. Livramento is on. No surprise that he's replaced Dan Burn, and Harvey Barnes has come on to replace Almiron for his first appearance since September, out with an ankle injury. As Newcastle United get a free kick, no, it's a throw on that far side. Meanwhile, Brighton, John Akers.
Brighton 3, Palace 0, and things go from bad to worse for Palace. Elise came on at half-time as a sub. He had a hamstring injury before the game. He lasted 11 minutes. He's gone off. Franca is on. Brighton 3, Palace 0.
Those Luton Town away fans high up in the gods away towards our left are having an absolute great day out in the northeast. It's 14 flights of stairs to climb to the Leazes End, which is the equivalent of climbing to the top of the Statue of Liberty. That was Tony Livesey's fact of the day. Every Friday evening at 5:20. I would imagine that if you're at the top of the Statue of Liberty, you'd have heard the roar from the Luton fans.
Yeah. Can we say they're in seventh heaven up there? It looks that way just now. I mean, they're loving it at the moment. They've played really well, and they've kept on going. And I keep on talking about the belief that they have in the system they've got, the players they've got, the way they're playing just now. And even when we lose goals, if you look at them recently, they've scored a lot of goals against a lot of very good teams, Luton Town. That's why they've got that belief, even when they're not winning games.
The voice of the former Scottish international, Pat Nevin, here at St James's Park, as Barkley, rolling back the years, wins the ball. He rolls it forward, and then a slip from Clark for what would have been another promising attack by Luton Town. At kick-off, they were in the bottom 3. They're climbing out with 3 precious points at the moment as Barnes plays it into Wilson. Wilson looking to turn for the shooting opportunity, pulls it back. Longstaff, who's on a hat-trick challenge, ball blocked, appeals for handball. All happening inside that Luton Town penalty area as the ball goes out of play. Gillingham 0, Walsall 1 is the latest score in League 2.
Well, they're looking for a free kick and they're looking for a handball, for a foul and a handball. We'll see, ball's not going out of play yet, so we don't know if the VR are going to look at it yet.
Here is Miley. Luton lead 4-2. Cross comes in. Ball put in. Kieran Trippier arriving from right back, hitting on the ball, edge of the 6-yard area. What a thrilling game this has been at St James's Park. Newcastle 3, Luton 4.
The only thing that's surprising in this game now is if it finishes 4-3, the way the goals are the way the fans got behind them, the changes that have been made there immediately. Barnes gets on the ball, gets further forward. They had a chance before that, both players got in their way, but that's your full-back, gets forward, and Kieran Trippier is back, and so are Newcastle.
Goals here and everywhere. We'll go first of all to Bolton, Charlie Slater.
Where Bolton are finally level. Bolton 1, Barnsley 1. Aaron Collins, who joined on deadline day with a cross, to Zach Ashworth with the header at the back post. 1-1. What a game here.
And in that relegation encounter in the Championship at Huddersfield, Sani Rudravachula.
It's a massive goal for Huddersfield Town. The Keithley Cannavaro, Matty Pearson heading in a corner. It's Huddersfield Town 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
They sacked Darren Moore in the week. John Worthington in caretaker charge. There's a red card now at Norwich, Aaron Paul.
Coventry down to 10 men. Liam Kitching sent off after being the last man and bringing Josh Sargent down on the edge of the area as he was through on goal. Norwich 1, Coventry 1, Coventry down to 10.
Luton are going to make a change, and Panzu's going to be coming on, and Jordan Clark is the player who's going off. We're midway through the second half. What an afternoon it has been here on 5 Live. Fast, frantic, and I tell you what, lots of fun.
Do you know what? It's one of those games really happy that 5 Live doesn't pick a man of the match. It's almost impossible to do it. There's so many really good displays out here, and you got, honestly, I have no idea who's going to score next, but I still expect more.
Colchester 1, Forest Green 2 is the latest score in League 2. Brighton still lead Palace by 3-0. Latest from Turf Moor, Lee Blakeman.
Burnley 0, Fulham 2. Fulham with chances to kill it. Willian with a shot tipped wide. Tosin with a header tipped over. Burnley 0, Fulham 2.
Another goal at Huddersfield, Sanny Rudradula.
Huddersfield have got a second. Josh Koroma played through on the halfway line, carried the ball in and side foots home. Massive second goal for Huddersfield Town. Huddersfield 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Team news coming up very soon from Sheffield United. Our next commentary in about an hour's time here on 5 Live. Newcastle now trail by 4-3. They've got a free kick that Trippier thought he was going to take. He's going to leave for Fabian Schär.
They want to keep the pace up, Newcastle, and at this point in time, Luton are trying to slow it down as much as they can, but it's almost impossible. I mean, they tried to make that change there. They made a substitution and deliberately made a real mess of it to slow things down, take some of the oomph out of this crowd. Good luck with that.
Yeah, deafening cry there from the Newcastle supporters here at St James's Park. Eddie Howe alongside Jason Tindall. He was ill yesterday, was Eddie Howe. So Jason Tindall actually had to do his media duties. I hope he's recovered sufficiently. This isn't necessarily a game for the faint-hearted, I wouldn't have thought. 4-3 to Luton. Lee Blakeman back at Burnley.
Burnley have got one back. Burnley 1, Fulham 2. Cross from the left, headed in on his home debut by David Fofana. Burnley 1, Fulham 2.
Colchester 2, Forest Green 2, a latest score in League 2. Osho, last line of defence, prevents it from reaching Wilson. Plays it forward towards Amari Bell. Amari Bell on this near side. Luton, orange shirts, white shorts, playing from right to left. Murphy's actually sitting on Amari Bell, who won't release the ball.
Well done. Referee got it absolutely spot on.
Quick free kick into Guimaraes. The referee, I think, is going to have this retaken.
The strange of free kicks there. He's gone down on the ball, deliberately held it between his legs just to make sure that no contact can be made with the ball. That's a free kick. So he's given it, and Trippier's on it.
Trippier then waits to take the free kick. Newcastle United were 1-0 up, were 2-1 up, then found themselves 3-2, 4-2 down. They now trail by 4-3. A helter-skelter game at St James's Park, and still you think there's another twist and turn to come. Trippier fires in the free kick, headed up in the air by Barkley. Kaminsky with the punch, headed back, headed away by Adebayo, comes out towards Schär, fired back in, out behind for a corner kick.
Mayhem in there. Goalkeeper's got to go and come and catch that. He's punched it. He's got no height and distance at all. Could have lost a goal out of that. He's got to go and catch that. Isn't strong enough. Nowhere near it. Newcastle unlucky not to get. And of course the man that's gone down injured now. And we're going to see a bit of that. Not surprisingly from Luton.
It's where the referee says, get back on your feet, or you're going off the field for 30 seconds. Certainly have only had one win in 13 in League 2. They're struggling. They're 23rd of the table. They're leading Doncaster Rovers at home in League 2 by 1-0. Corner kick. Bladen races, rings around St James's Park. Corner kick far side by Trippier, towards the far post, headed out by Morris, comes towards Murphy, scuffs it, back in, cleared, out of play for a throw. As soon as we get a break in play, we're going to try and get you the team news from Bramall Lane for our next commentary. I don't want to miss the next instalment for what could be the 8th goal of the afternoon here at St James's, as Barkley, challenged by Miley, no foul. Now it's with Harvey Barnes! Harvey Barnes with the equaliser! Delirium in the Gallagate end, away towards our right-hand side. Back off the bench after an absence in September. He makes his impact. It's 4-4.
But you could just feel that coming. The crowd had not been dampened at all. 4-2 down, they kept on going. 4-3. You would have thought at 4-3 down there that Newcastle were winning. The noise was incredible. It's lifted the team. Barnes has come on, and what a difference he's made there. By the way, in the midst of that, Miley, brilliant tackle to win the ball back. Barkley, actually, it's Barkley. Brilliant piece of play there. 4-4. Come on, where's the rest of these goals?
Another goal. It's at Brighton. John Akers.
It's one for Palace. They've got one back. Brighton 3, Palace 1. Mateta, firm header into the corner. 3-1.
Stoke 0, Leicester 4, Blackburn 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2, Colchester 3, Forest Green 2, and we know about that goal at Crystal Palace. Before we get anything else, let's get the team news while we can. Vicky Sparks at Bramall Lane.
Mason Holgate makes his Sheffield United debut with one of 5 changes. Osula, Brooks, Norrington Davis and Fodringham also come in. Brereton Diaz is fit and starts. Bailey and Carlos replace Diaby and Cash, and Villas 2 changes. New arrival Morgan Rogers is on the bench.
What a mad game of football.
Do you know what? How long is it to go? 17 minutes plus a bit added on top of that. This could be anything. This will be one of these games that fans talk about for years.
Let's get news of that latest goal at Stoke. Pat Murphy.
Perfect counter-attacking goal from Leicester City and Jamie Vardy. Justin on the sub. Perfect low cross. Vardy, formality for him, makes it Stoke 0, Leicester 4.
And the leaders of League One, Portsmouth, are also leading 4-0. They're at home to Northampton at Fratton Park as they look to go 4 unbeaten, and they're also, remember, down to 10 men. 4-4 here. Luton Town, they must have thought that they'd got the 3 points when they went 4-2 up.
But do they really, considering the late goals that they've lost this season in big games? There can't be that complete belief.
Well, Newcastle United have now reduced it in what has been an incredible game of football. Seen some great games in this stadium down the years, as the ball is played up with Morris to Mpanzu. Mpanzu shoots spilled at his near post by Dubravka, gathers it in at the second attempt, rolls it out. Now these two sides slugging it out. Who's going to go for a potential 9th goal to try and get them a win?
Both of them, absolutely 100%. Both of them are going to go for it. You're spot on with your description. They're slugging it out.
Here is Murphy, loses the ball. O'Benny picks it up, challenged by Murphy. Referee's going to give a free kick. News of another goal at Huddersfield. Sanny.
Well, we had an hour of nothing, but Huddersfield have just scored a 3rd. Sorba Thomas, diagonal ball play to him, coolly finishes. Huddersfield Town 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Murphy's shown the yellow card for that challenge on the Luton Town midfielder.
It's the only way you can stop him, Bonnie, isn't it? If he's got half a yard on you, you either leave him or else you take him down. You're never going to catch him.
Free kick is rolled out to O'Benny on that far side, the right. Under a quarter of an hour remains. Doughty inside to Barkley. Barkley, I thought, was going to shoot. Instead, he plays it deliberately to Adebayo, who was trying to just tee up Osho. Cleared, though, by Trippier. Took full advantage with the clearance. Eddie Howe urging Newcastle to go forward for what is one of the games of the Premier League season. 4-4. Up it goes. Trippier heads it back towards Dubravka.
Hardly time to say it, but Trippier's back, isn't he? He's been absolutely superb today. He scored that 4th goal, the 3rd goal obviously, but on top of that, he's been brilliant. He's driven his side forward all afternoon. The FWA North East writers of the Player of the Year as well, Kieran Trippier. As a cross comes in, it was a good cross, only as far as Barnes takes a deflection, goes behind for a corner kick. Corner kick to Newcastle, 4-4. You're only surprised that didn't end up in the back of the net. Brilliant play down the right hand side there, and of course it looks so dangerous because you've always get Wilson to aim it. Comes down to Barnes and he'll be a bit gutted he didn't beat the first man with his shot, but good defending there.
You're right about Trippier, just had that little dip in form, but the England international certainly back on it now. Collects that award in early March at the Ramside in Durham from the Football Writers Association. He'll take the corner kick far side. It's an in-swinger. Adebayo climbs high to head it out. Back out towards Trippier, puts it in first time. Flying header out by Barkley. Luton Town had everybody back. 13 minutes remaining. Thing is, if you'd have said to Rob Edwards at the start of the game, would you have taken a point ahead of the kickoff? I'm sure it'd have snapped your hand off. But then all of a sudden, when you found yourself 4-2 up, to be pegged back in a game that has fluctuated. As a free kick goes in favour of Newcastle, far side the left in front of the east stand. Reece Burke is going to be coming on, a defender for Luton Town.
Yeah, one of the things you'll say about Luton, for all we've said from the start of the season, you really don't want to lose them for the Premier League because they are brilliant to watch. They are always exciting, they never give up, they've got a brilliant attitude towards the games. And they're scoring a lot of goals now as well on top of that.
Yeah, 4 against Brighton, 4 against Newcastle. Morris, the captain, is going to be the player going to be coming off, so he is going to be sacrificed for Reece Burke. Meanwhile, a goal at Preston, Ellen Ellard.
Preston North End 3, Ipswich Town 1. They have one back. Who else other than Kiefer Moore on his return to the club? Leif Davis with a beautifully weighted cross into the back post where Kiefer Moore headed home on his return. Preston North End 3, Ipswich Town 1. Jacob Brown is going to be coming on because it's a double change that is being made, so it might not necessarily be sacrificed for anything with that double change. Doughty had been playing as a left wing back, so Burke will go into the back three. They'll just create another wing back on the left hand side. Brown replaces Morris. That's the changes that have been made by Luton Town. 4-4. Barrow 1, MK Dons 0 is the latest score in League 2. Wigan have had a man sent off as they lead Peterborough by 2-0. Newcastle United, meanwhile, have got this free kick. It's 4-4. 11 minutes of normal time remaining. 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. Far side, free kick from the left. Headed out and headed further away by Brown. Lifted back in on the full by Murphy, right-footed, bouncing ball, hard to deal with. They're appealing for handball there against Obeni. Referee wouldn't have had a good view of that, but he gives a free kick to Luton. Meanwhile at Huddersfield Town, Sani Rudavachala's got another goal.
Yes, a fever dream of a game this. Huddersfield Town 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0. It's Josh Grogan with his second, dancing for own goal. Huddersfield on fire. Huddersfield 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Gillingham 1, Walsall 1 is the latest score in League 2.
We were looking at the penalty there, no chance whatsoever. And it'd be a real shame if this game was decided in a dodgy VAR decision or a mistake. This deserves to be decided and a really good goal because there's been plenty of them so far.
Colchester 3, Forest Green 3 is the latest score in League 2. For somehow we're going to have to try and rattle through all the latest scores in the various divisions very, very soon. As Mpanzu to Brown, the substitute in the penalty area left hand side, gathered in low at his near post by Dubravka. 10 minutes remain. Newcastle 4, Luton 4.
What is very noticeable in a technical way, it's been much harder on the right hand side for Obeni to get on the ball and get to the byline since Livramento come on, hasn't it? He's not got there once so far. Livramento's not had a foot race with him yet. He's just played him cleverly.
It was an area that Luton certainly exploited against Dan Burn earlier. Dundee 2, Hearts 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Ball pumped out over the top. Osho goes with Wilson, the Newcastle substitute. Takes him out wide on this near side, the right level of the area. Holds it up, rolls it back on this right side towards Trippier. Slows it down, passes the ball inside. Miley, forward of the centre circle. And then back to the halfway line. Now with Cher. Earlier in the Scottish Premiership, the result was Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. Cher comes out of defence, opens up for Cher, edge of the area, passes the ball. Oh, and a cross towards Barnes, and the keeper got a touch to that, and behind for a corner kick. Another goal at Norwich, Aaron Paul.
Borja Sainz has put Norwich 2-1 up here at Carrow Road. A curling effort from the edge of the D. It's a fabulous strike from Borja Sainz. Norwich 2, Coventry 1.
It was Barnes. It needed the touch from Kaminski, didn't it?
Yeah, and just watching it, Wilson's there for a he's there for a tap, and if he doesn't quite hit off him beforehand, keeper's got a little tap in the head, he'll be okay.
I don't know about not being able to hear at the start of the game. I might not be able to speak come the end. 4-4. Corner kick to Newcastle. We've still got the latest scores to give you in the Scottish Premiership before we go through League 2, League 1 and the Championship. Trippier to take the corner kick right hand side. In it comes. It's an outswinger. Good header out by Adebayo. Volleyed clear by Mpanzu. Dundee 2, Hearts 2. Hibs 0, St Mirren 3. Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1. Rangers lead Livingston by 3-0. Ross County 0, St Johnstone 1. Trippier midway through the Luton Town half, now with Botman outside the centre circle, passes it out towards Harvey Barnes. He waits. What a sweet moment that must have been after his frustration with injury to get on the score sheet. He now makes that run. It runs out of play for a goal kick without further ado. In League 2, the early result was Newport County 2, Swindon 1. These are the latest scores. Accrington 0, Grimsby 0, Barrow 1, MK Dons 0, Bradford City 0, Wimbledon 0, Colchester 3, Forest Green 3, Crawley 1, Morecambe 1, Gillingham 1, Walsall 1, Mansfield lead Notts County by 1-0, Salford City lead Wrexham 3-1, Stockport the leaders 1, Harrogate Town 1, Sutton United 1, Doncaster 0, goalless at Prenton Park between Tranmere and Crewe. Kaminski waits to take the goal kick for Luton Town. 7 minutes remaining of normal time. Wilson clearly being held by Osho. Clearly. Ball played forward. Wilson just complains. He tried to let the game flow, I guess, but Wilson and Osho, that was a wrestling contest, and Osho was definitely holding Wilson. So, Wales, Scotland in the Six Nations about to get underway. Daffy Jones.
Yeah, the stage set. Wales haven't lost here to Scotland since 2002, but the Scots fancy their chances against a much changed, unfamiliar, inexperienced Welsh side. Scotland aim to banish their Cardiff hoodoo.
Commentary, that's on Sports Extra. It's also live on BBC One. Osho can't complain. He's all over him like a rash. It's another foul on Wilson.
Yeah, but you know, Wilson's like, he just puts himself about and makes him, he's in the nicest possible way. He's horrible to play against. And he is there. He gets the ball, he holds it up, he fights, he battles, and he was pulled down there twice in a row. And of course, Osho's had a hard game today. Wilson's come on, sharp, energetic, only played 35 minutes. He's looking sharp, and I bet he thinks he's going to score the winner. You've got to feel he does.
6 minutes remaining if he is, although there will be a lot of added on time. Trippier and Longstaff are involved in a conversation for this free kick that is midway through the Luton Town half. Newcastle playing from left to right. Trippier wants Livramento just to go to his left-hand side. Murphy is to his right. Luton Town have got everybody back. They've got two in a wall. Trippier rolls it. Guimaraes then hoists it towards Longstaff. Downward header in the penalty area. Wilson is there with his back to goal. Looks for a shooting opportunity. Murphy provides the support and the cross from the right. Headed out by Lokonga. Adebayo tries to get there, beaten to it by Guimaraes. Newcastle look to try and maintain the pressure, and Guimaraes has done well on the left. He enters the penalty area at the far post. Murphy on the stretch, couldn't get there. Off target, goal kick, 4-4.
Oh, what brilliant play on the left-hand side there. Guimaraes gets down, puts it between the defenders and the goalkeeper, and unfortunately for him, it's between the forwards as well. Zipped it in with his right foot. That's got Wilson written all over it, hasn't it? And he doesn't quite get there.
The result in the early game in League One was Oxford 1, Reading 1. These are the latest scores. Bolton 1, Barnsley 1, Burton Albion 0, Lincoln 1, despite Lincoln being down to 10 men in the 29th minute. Charlton 0, Derby 1, Cheltenham 1, Wycombe 3, Exeter 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Fleetwood 2, Port Vale 0. Could be a first win for Charlie Adam as manager. Leyton Orient 3, Carlisle 1, Peterborough 0, Wigan 2. Wigan are down to 10 men, as are Portsmouth, but they lead Northampton by 4-0, the League One leaders. Shrewsbury 1, Cambridge 2, Stevenage and Blackpool is goalless at Broadhall Way. It's no longer goalless in the Championship at West Brom. Becky I.
It's taken 84 minutes, but finally West Brom have broken the deadlock. Andy Wyman flicked it on at the near post, ended in the back of the net. West Brom 1, Birmingham 0.
Crawley 1, Morecambe 2, and another goal. It's at Brighton. John Akers.
And it's another one for Brighton. Brighton 4, Palace 1 with 6 minutes to go. Joao Pedro, nice 1-2, holds up 4 fingers to the Palace fans. 4-1.
We've got 4 minutes remaining here at St James's Park, and 4 is definitely the magic number. Newcastle 4, Luton 4. Foul from Brown.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone down there, and it was quite a sore one, but I don't think it was deliberate from down. Brown, he was just trying to keep himself big and keep himself strong. And there is a bit of time wasting going on. However, I'm trying to see who it is. Adebayo has gone down there with cramp. I suspect he has got cramp. I don't think he's messing around there. He has worked hard, just like every other player on here.
Well, he's going to be coming off because Adebayo, who looked like he might have got, I don't know, a winner at one stage when they were 4-2 up, is going to be coming off, and Corley Woodrow, who got that late winner at Everton last week in the FA Cup, comes on to replace him. So whilst the change happens, these are the latest scores in the Championship. Blackburn 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Blackburn without a win in 7 in the Championship before today. Huddersfield Town 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Hull City 1, Millwall 0. Norwich 2, Coventry 1, Coventry down to 10. Preston North End lead Ipswich 3-1. Rotherham 0, Southampton 2. Southampton looking to extend their club record run, unbeaten in the league, to 21. It'll be 23 in all competitions. No stopping the leaders though, Leicester City. They're 4-0 up at Stoke. Stoke 0, Leicester City 4. Swansea 0, Plymouth 1. Watford 0, Cardiff 1. West Bromwich Albion 1, Birmingham 0, as we heard from Becky. We've got under 3 minutes remaining. In the Premier League it finished Everton 2, Tottenham 2, Brighton lead Palace 4-1, Burnley 1, Fulham 2 are the latest scores. Commentary from Bramall Lane at 5:30 after Sports Report that's on its way with Mark Chapman.
It's just slowed the game down a little bit, making those substitutions there, but you get the feeling there is a big finish waiting for us in this one.
Newcastle United are yet to draw at home this season. They're like Tottenham. They have the identical record to Spurs at home. 8 wins and 3 defeats. Their last draw was against Leicester back in May. It was a goalless draw that particular night. This has been a rip-roaring,
anything but goalless draw.
Raucous afternoon of goals and incident. And Newcastle United will be awarded a free kick midway through their own half with 2 minutes remain. One of those games that you just don't wish to end.
Exactly, and that frequently happens in the Premier League this season, and it happens quite a bit here in Newcastle as well. And one of the officials, it's one of the Luton backroom staff has got a yellow card. Let's just slowed the game down again, nothing else.
Dundee 2, Hearts 3. Peterborough 0, Wigan 3 is the latest score in League One. Forward ball might reach Wilson. Flag goes up. That's interesting. Must have been a foul from Wilson on Osho rather than the look of the offside, because they're always told to keep the flag down, and Wilson was bearing in on goal.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, there's no massive complaints from Wilson. But there's many a referee or assistant referee wouldn't give that. I don't think the referee gave it. I think it's the assistant gave it there. That's a big call, but Callum Wilson's not making a big song and dance about it.
The stoppage time and the amount of stoppage time is going to be very, very interesting in this game as we now enter the last 60 seconds of normal time. Newcastle 4, Luton 4. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. You're looking, I think, at least 5 minutes.
I was thinking 6 or 7. Go for 6.
Osho again holding Wilson.
And how many times?
Constantly holding him, and now the yellow card. Persistent offending, he's eventually shown the yellow card. A goal at Burnley, Lee Blakeman.
It's 2-2, would you believe it? Burnley from 2 down, cross from the left has been put in by David Fofana, who's got both. Burnley 2, Fulham 2.
Fulham 5 without a win before today. They were 2-0 up. 10 minutes of added on time, which we're now into.
I thought I was going for it by saying 6 or 7. 10. Wow. There haven't been a huge amount of injuries, but there has been a bit of time wasting going on from Luton. It doesn't seem that bad.
And also, it's the exact time for the goals as well, and any VAR checks as well as the substitutes.
Exactly. Good point.
Free kick, Trippier takes it into the penalty box, headed out, drops to the edge of the area. Cher got in the way of Barnes. He hits it goalwards. Loops in the air, cleared by Barkley, only as far as Trippier on the half volley. Skimming ball, edge of the area. Miley jumps in the air, ball played by Botman. This is Guimaraes. Guimaraes in the box, has a shot, blocked, behind for a corner kick. Goal at Preston Ellen Ellard.
Preston 3, Ipswich Town 2. Kiefer Moore has his second. Ali Al-Hamadi with the first shot. It pinged back and forth. Kiefer Moore got it over the line. 3-2.
Corner kick then for Trippier. Near side the right, 4-4. Trippier, right hand side with a corner. Headed out by Burke. Comes to Livramento. Plays it out towards Barnes. Barnes back with Livramento once again. Newcastle United now doing all the attacking. Cross swung over from the left. Headed out by Burke. Livramento hits it back. There's nobody on this right hand side, and it's going to go out of play for a throw.
Yeah, I mean, you look at players like, Harvey Barnes, out for a while, but he's only played half of the game. You want him with his energy if you're a Newcastle fan to go on the ball. But if you're Luton, you're thinking of Benny. Try and get the ball out the far side.
Blatant time wasting by Luton Town. Somebody's got to take ownership and look to come and take this ball for a throw. Updating the rugby in the early stages in Cardiff. Wales, Scotland, Daffy Jones.
7 minutes played. Scotland lead 3-0. Finn Russell penalty. Their first foray into the Welsh half, deserving of their advantage. Wales 0, Scotland 3.
Live on BBC One. It's also on Sports Extra. At this rate, we're going to be crashing Sports Report. It will be coming up hot on the heels of this game of 4-4 as we are into the 10 minutes of added on time, 2 of which have already elapsed. Stevenage have got a late winner at Broadhall Way. Stevenage 1, Blackpool 0. Portsmouth 4, Northampton 1 is the latest score at Fratton Park. Cher, forward ball, Wilson takes it into the channel. Osho goes with him side by side. And out for a throw down by the corner flag. Momentum now feels with Newcastle.
Very, very much so. But every time that Newcastle get the ball, they're trying to get it into Wilson's feet, asking the questions of Osho. That's been a great battle since those two have been up against each other.
It's going to be a throw that Trippier's going to take. They're attacking the Gallowgate end, playing from left to right as we look in black and white striped shirts and black shorts. Trippier Comes to the touchline. Almost fell over without releasing the ball, then gets it back. Toe-ends it towards Longstaff. Seems a long time ago since he scored those 2 goals in the first half. Barkley rolls it out. Luton Town now have got options to strike on the counter-attack. O'Benny, he's got Woodrow and Panzu and Brown all ahead of him. He slows it down and allows Newcastle to get men behind the ball, but he collects that forward pass on the right-hand side, cuts it back, and that was good tracking back by Livramento. Prevents it reaching Mpanzu.
I wonder if it was actually Miley there. He got in there last second there, got back in a brilliant position there. Real danger down that right-hand side, but every Newcastle player working hard. And not to forget, Luton have brought in 3 attackers. There should have a bit of energy when they're playing in the break now as well.
4-4 it remains. 6.5 minutes remain of stoppage time. Lokonga, Osho. Not exactly parking the bus here. Every outfield player now is in the Newcastle half. Burke towards Brown. Brown can't get past. Cher plays it inside towards Murphy. Still Luton though will go press. Miley comes under pressure. Out towards Cher. Scuffs it down the line towards Guimaraes, who tries to hold off the challenge of Lokonga. Fleetwood 3, Port Vale 0. We can say with real certainty that's Charlie Adams' first win as manager. After 1 draw and 4 defeats. Doncaster have equalised at Sutton. Sutton 1, Doncaster 1 in League 2. Peterborough have got a goal back at London Road. Peterborough 1, Wigan 3, and Brown has stayed down for Luton Town.
He stayed down and he didn't move at all. And I do think he was hit. I think it was an undeliberate shoulder maybe going into his nose there as both players turned into the ball. So they have slowed it down. They have made it Betty Luton in these last 10 minutes.
Full time at Norwich, Aaron Paul.
Norwich 2, Coventry 1. Coventry broke the deadlock through O'Hare, but a red card for Kitching gave Norwich impetus with goals from Sargent and Sainz, sealing a big 3 points to David Wagner's side. Norwich 2, Coventry 1.
7 unbeaten now at Carrow Road, the end of Coventry's 10-match unbeaten run. Brown is on his feet, was going to have to come off the field of play. Rob Edwards desperately trying to get some instructions across to his players during that pause in play. There's a little bit of a wad that's been stuffed up one of the nostrils of Jacob Brown, just to stem the bleeding. He'll be coming back on. We're halfway through the 10 minutes of added on time. Full time at Burnley, Lee Blakeman.
Burnley 2, Fulham 2. Fulham 2 up at half time, thanks to Polinia and Muniz. Fofana on as a sub, got both for Burnley. Equaliser on 92. Burnley 2, Fulham 2.
Brighton still lead Crystal Palace by 4 goals to 1. We know the threat that Luton pose from a set piece. They've been awarded a free kick 25 yards out from goal.
Do you know, one of the things you say about teams that come up, they're a little bit naive. They've not shown any naivety in these last few minutes. Luton they've held the ball well. They've slowed the game down a little bit. Killed a little bit of the pressure that they were suffering for about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes before that, and now they're getting a little bit of a chance themselves.
Barkley places the ball down. Shrewsbury incidentally are down to 10 men as they trail at home to Cambridge by 2 goals to 1. This is 10 yards in from the left touch line. We're in the 6th minute of 10 to be added on. It's 4-4. Barkley with a free kick. It's an in-swinger. Burke was there. Bobbles around inside the penalty area. Cleared by Callum Wilson. Eddie Howe ushers everybody out of that Newcastle United penalty area as Amari Bell picks it up. Still going despite being challenged. Breaks back towards Mengi. The orange shirts keep it with Luton Town. Full time at Brighton, John Akers.
Not a good afternoon for Roy Hodgson. Brighton 4, Palace 1. They were 3-0 down Palace in 34 minutes. Dunk, Hinchelwood, Buonanotte, Mateta got one back, and then Pedro made it 4. Brighton 4, Palace 1.
Jamie Vardy's got a penalty, Jamie Vardy, for Leicester. Stoke 0, Leicester 5 is the latest score. The Championship leaders are in fine form. O'Benny runs forward over on that far side, the right for Luton Town. 4-4, 3 minutes of stoppage time remain at St James's Park. Plays the ball back. Do we have time for a winner? The ball now with Lokonga to Barkley. Newcastle United have got everybody back. Lokonga out towards the right. You're correct with what you said though, Pat, about that right hand side. Nowhere near the same level of threat since Burner's gone off.
Yeah, Miley's moved across there to help Livramento a little bit, and he just killed that space to run into for. And it's clever. I mean, maybe he was a wee bit 5-10 minutes too late making the change.
Barkley plays it short and square, gets it back from Mengi. Barkley comes away, runs clear of Longstaff, passes the ball out towards Amari Bell on this near side. Here is Burke, infield, Barkley, Brown. Burke had made the run off Brown. Luton lose the ball, Brown couldn't hold on to it. Burke tries to get it back. Shares under pressure. He clears only as far as Barkley. Luton Town still committing men forward. Plays the ball forward up towards the far side, and the shot first time was straight at Dubravka.
But he's got to put his laces through that one. He's tried to side foot it from that angle. He needs to do a bit better than that. Great chance for him.
That was a great chance with 2 minutes remaining of stoppage time. Wilson battling for the ball, cleared by Burke. Cher and Trippier both go for the same ball. Very, very frantic now inside St James's Park. Peterborough against the 10 men have got another goal back at London Road. Peterborough 2, the 10 men of Wigan 3. No more latest scores to tell you. Sports Report coming up with Mark Chapman on what has been a busy afternoon of sport in the Six Nations. England winning in Rome. Wales, Scotland currently on Sports Extra and live on BBC One. And after Sports Report, our next commentaries at 5:30. Sheffield United, Aston Villa. 90 seconds remain. 4-4. The ball goes back by Botman to Dubravka. Newcastle float the ball out to this side. Trippier didn't keep the ball in play. And Luton Town have got a throw midway through the Newcastle half.
When it came to 10 minutes extra time added on at the end there, you thought it would really favour Newcastle United, but they've not been able to get into it at all here. It's been very, very frustrating for them. Not getting any passing movements, and that's why I say I think it's been very, very, very mature from Luton.
Convincing win for Leicester at the top of the Championship. Southampton have won away at Rotherham by 2-0. As now we have less than 60 seconds remaining. Newcastle United still with Luton Town pressing, not allowing them out of their own half, not even out of their own penalty area, as Osho tries to win that ball. Guimaraes now lifts it forward, and there's a gap appeared at the back, and Wilson might be able to exploit that gap left by Osho, but he's held up left corner of the area. 30 seconds remain. 4-4. Livramento level with the penalty box, left hand side, back towards Wiley, goes square. Botman to Trippier. Blocked by Woodrow. Out of play, goes for a Newcastle throw. Leighton Orient 3, Carlisle 2 is the latest score in League One. The last 10 seconds of what an incredible game of football. Murphy can't get past the two Luton players. Woodrow's going to bring it clear for Luton Town, and it goes out of play, and it's a Luton throw.
Well done again, Luton. Put himself under a lot of that pressure there, but Woodrow is brought on as a forward, but he's back there. He's marking Trippier. Trippier was in a perfect position for a cross, but he's got in there and blocked it.
Twice Newcastle took the lead, twice they were pegged back. Luton then were 4-2 up before Newcastle came back to 4-4. That is the full-time whistle. Very quickly, Pat Nevin.
Phenomenal game of football. We could talk about it for hours, but I'll come back and watch Newcastle every week if they play like this, as I would Luton Town. They deserve the point, both teams.
All smiles for Luton Town. What an incredible game. Sports Report on its way, but it's finished at St James's Park. Newcastle 4, Luton 4.
Sensational stuff. Reaction to come during Sports Report.